Good morning, folks. Good morning. Afternoon, evening, depending on where you are. Happy Tuesday. What's up, bottom of the sixth? Good to see you guys. Did anything good happen since the last time you guys saw me? Uh-oh. We've got sound. I need to turn the sound off. There we go. I could hear it. I don't think you guys could hear it. I'm a mess today. We went right till the end. What's up, guys? Mr. World, Crazy Katie Cat, BF Bombers, Stands. Jeez, guys. Okay, hi, everybody. Hello. Happy Tuesday. It is our first tournament Tuesday since Out of the Park 22 dropped, and I wish I could say I have a whole bunch of packs to open for you guys. I don't. It's been, I took 4 days off, and it was the best 4 days ever. From data, and then Friday dropped, and it's been data ever since. That's not entirely true. I had to go out of town Saturday and missed a whole day of data, so I don't have as much as I would like, but I got a lot more than I expected. I told you guys this week was going to be just an overview of tournaments. We were just going to look at what's available, what's out there for you guys to do. But man, you guys are killing these iron tournaments, and they kick off. I swear, an iron tournament kicks off every minute of the day. It's literally a minute, and they fill up. And so I've been able to get enough data that I think we're going to do an iron tournament stream today. It's going to be different. It's going to be a little different. We're going to get into it in a minute. I'm going to overview my teams first. I've got 4 teams this year, just like last year. I have a plan for each of them, and so we're going to take a look at all of them. You miss Iron Best of 7, Bailey? I like the best of 5s. The best of 7s were good too. I like the best of 5s. They kick off really fast. But I imagine that there has been an outcry for best of 7 irons and 32 team irons, and so I would not be surprised to see them come down the pipe at some point. I am not in on those decision making meetings, so I don't know. Yeah, is there going to be a third? Yeah, I don't know. I imagine there's going to be one later on. You wish you had. Yeah, everybody wants iron 32s. I'll pass it along. They probably see it in the chat too. So people really want 32 team irons. I am pretty happy with the 16 team ones, but I could do with a 32 as well. I think for data purposes, the 32 would probably be better, and for reliability of the players purposes, 32 teams would probably be a little bit better, but I'm pretty happy with the 16s. There's a lot of good tournaments out there too that aren't just the super quick tournaments. So let's get into my teams. We're going to start with the main team, which is going to be the Decimals, the main Decimals team. This is kind of going to be a big game hunting team. We're going to be you'll see the weekly tournaments, the big weekly tournaments, such as the Iron Warriors, the Tuesday Bronze. We're going to go big game hunting for these ones. There will be some other ones. I have some plans in line for these weekly tournaments on my channel. I might talk about that at the end if we have time. Right now, the Decimals don't have a whole lot going on. I'm not gonna lie with you. You're loving the tourney selection. It is good so far. Let's see, 6-4-2 versus 2-1. Why waste time with the 5s? Bailey, for me though, it's data. Like, I get knocked out a lot faster in a best of 5, so I get to get more data. But either way, with a 32 team, obviously you get more teams involved. You get a little bit more of a sample size in the players, but either way, I think they both work. But I do think that bang for your buck right now, those bronze best of 7s are probably gonna be the ones that people are leaning towards. But 2 tournaments, they kick off, you're out in quick, and if you win, it's pretty quick too. So even if you're in it for a long time, the best of 7s take a really long time. Like, it was 11 o'clock last night, and I'm trying to get the team working for it, and they take a really long time for those best of 7 tournaments to win if you're winning. And the best of 5s and the 16 team best of 5s, it's pretty quick. So either way is a pretty okay to grind out. But yeah, Iron's gonna slow down a little bit after, and yeah, Iron's gonna be interesting after today. I think I am loath to do this because I got into the round of 16 in the Iron Warriors tournament last week. I got that close to getting card rewards, and I'm loath to give you guys the data that I'm seeing on the Irons, but I will say that team didn't have any data. It was it was my opening pack. So I think people are going to be better next weekend anyway, regardless of whether they watch this stream or not. So you got a diamond, 3 diamonds. Who's got diamonds? Me, 3 diamonds already. 2 of these are from loyalty packs. Actually, and one of them's from a standard pack. I think I might even have a 4th on this team. This is not a packs. It's not going to be a packs only team. Right now, it's been only packs for the main team because I haven't messed with it too much. I haven't really had a chance to look at the main team that much. We did have Ken Williams drop in our loyalty packs, which was nice. I was hoping he would be a big payday to start off and get us on the right foot, but he's going for 15,000. So we're just going to hold on to him for now because he's going to earn that back in perfect points over a couple seasons probably. We'll keep an eye out and see if he goes up in price, but the live cards obviously are going for 4, 5, 6,000. As it per usual, the silver ones are usually the best ones to sell when you talk about lives. There's a lot of hot tourneys early. There are a lot of good tournaments early, but this is the main team. My plan for this team, like I said, they're going to be the big game hunters, and we're going to build them out through collections. We'll build them out through packs a little bit. We'll buy some cards to throw onto this main team, but that's for someday when they have perfect points. Right now, we're just trying to build up a bronze team for tonight's bronze weekly tournament. And I've made some progress. We got a 2nd place last night and then got knocked out in a 7-game series in the first round. Right now we're in round number 2. I think we were at 2-2 in round number 2. We're now 3-3 heading into a game 7 in round number 2 against the Rome Golden Gophers. Don't know if you're in here. We're not going to watch that. That team's embarrassing right now. I'm not happy with that team right now. I made changes and all of a sudden they started losing. So you wish you heard it'll be 128. What if you win that one? 256 team this week and perfect team next week. Interesting. Perfect draft this week and perfect team. That is, we'll see. That sounds fun. That's the first I heard of that. So that'll be fun. Our perfect draft's going to be included in my tourney streams. I'm going to try to get some perfect drafts today. I am getting data on the perfect drafts. I'm downloading it. I have no idea what I want to do with it yet. I don't know what to do with it yet. It's that's a work in progress. I am downloading the data for future use. I have not used it for anything yet. I just go through and basically right now I pick the best 100 card I can figure out, usually Eddie Murray if he's available, and any future legends that I see at this point, and then after that I fill the team and see how it goes. I haven't had a lot of success in the drafts yet. I really like stats. You guys are better at the game than I am, though. I like statistics and I like talking numbers. So that is the main team. They are in tonight's Tuesday weekly bronze tournament, and they're in the Iron Warriors. And actually, let me bring them back up. Actually, we'll talk about tournaments after we get through the team. So let's do the second team. If there's any sound issues or anything like that, let me know. We changed stuff up over the last week or so. You can see the difference of stuff behind me. The jury's still out for you in perfect draft. You've had bad luck by not getting good quality cards. When you're forced to select cards and they're all bench warmers and you have 20 seconds left to choose from, it can get very stressful too. Yeah, it's a blast though. I enjoy it. They're cards that I'll never see on my main teams either. So this is my secondary team. This is going to be my theme team. They're gonna participate in some tournaments. You can see they're collecting data on the daily bronze caps, a little bit of bronze data for me as well, since the main tournament data collection team is pretty much doing iron right now. That'll change today. That team's going to be getting into bronzes. This team is going to be a theme team. It's going to be Red Sox players who were on a Red Sox World Series championship team. I am leaning towards players who were on teams that played in the World Series for the Red Sox. It's a little bit up in the air. This one's going to get started tomorrow is when I'm going to start actually building this team. I haven't done anything with it yet. The reason I'm leaning towards players who played in a World Series is because by doing just World Series winning teams, well, that cuts out all of the second 80% of the 1900s. So it creates a pretty small player pool to build from, and I would like the team to be successful. So I think I'm going to go players who were on teams in the World Series, and that, thank goodness for that 1946 team, because otherwise we'd be missing out on Ted Williams there. So why do I hate Yaz? I don't hate Yaz. That's why I'm going for players who played in a World Series for the Red Sox. And so I'm going to start filling that team tomorrow. Maybe we'll do it today. We'll see how much time we have left at the end of the stream today. It's going to be a chock full stream today because the tournament stats are going to be a little bit strange, and then we're going to try to get an iron team together today too, depending on how that bronze team does over the next couple hours. If they get knocked out, we're going to start filling an iron team. So that is they're called I haven't even set the logo up on this team yet. Saturday and Sunday were just monster days for me, and so this is all from Friday and yesterday is what you're going to see today. So this team currently is not all Red Sox. These are the Bruins, Bergeron's Bruins. Same thing as every year. They do have one pack to open. We're going to open packs at the end. They did get a Fred Glade in their packs. So Loyalty Packs got us Fred Glade, who is currently has not sold yet. So maybe we put him up for 1 million D points and set the market. Doubtful, but we're holding on to him for now. He'll get sold at some point when we figure out what we want to sell him for and what we want to do with this team. All these other guys, Chapman, Grandal. Well, we started off with a Vazquez, who, by the way, defense appears to be really important to overall rating this year, guys. Because I do not believe that Christian Vazquez's bat is a diamond rated bat. It is all defense. It's his 102 catcher defense, his 88 catcher ability, his 82 arm at catcher. He's one of the better looking defensive catchers in the game at this point that I have seen. I have not seen some of the higher level catchers, but I'm pretty sure we'll talk about it a little more when we get to the Iron Tournament stuff, but I'm pretty sure overall rating takes into account defense just a little bit more now than it has in the past. You got downgraded to gold. First base does not bode well. You need a Buckner left field card? Yeah. It's having team with the main logo auto changing when using a custom non-stock logo. We'll keep that in mind. I haven't updated logos or anything yet. Gleiber's a 96. I'm not surprised. Gleiber's pretty good. We do have one pack. We're going to open it at the end. The tertiary team, number 3 team, they were last year a theme team. The Future Legends theme team last year. Again, haven't done much with them. They're going to do some weekly stuff for us and download some data on that. So if you get stacked up with them in Spore or Sandlot tonight, congratulations, you're probably going to win. This is a packs only team. They're going to open a couple packs later today. This team's going to be straight packs, and so they're probably going to, as soon as I have the other teams kind of built, they're probably going to stay away from tournaments. They'll probably start spamming iron, bronze tournaments at that point and collecting data on them as well. This is a no focus on this one, just straight packs and then doing whatever we can with the main team. And then last but not least, the decimals too. We have so many keys right now, so many product keys. It's so it's tough right now. It's been managing all of this stuff's been a little tough. This team right now is spamming iron tournaments. You can see it's just iron after iron after iron, trying to get iron data. This is going to be packs only and focusing on iron, bronze, silver tournaments. Hopefully they get a hit at some point. The decimals too. Right now they do have, I think they got a good hit at one point. No, this team's all gold. There's no diamonds on this because they're new. It's a new team that was just last year, so they didn't even get any diamond packs. And so right now, well, yeah, we got a Straz. Oh, we did get a Strasburg to drop yesterday, who's a 99 right now. We're gonna wait and see if he bumps up to 100 and sell him for 20,000 points. My typing's like a drum through the speakers. Is it too loud? Let me turn the mic and see. I have the mic too close to the keyboard, so I'll move it and see what I can do. Hopefully that helps out. I apologize for the keyboard. I'm still working on sound issues with the new setup, so that's something that I'm trying to figure out. If I don't point it towards me, then I start to have issues with you hearing my voice. So I'm planning on getting a mic stand in the near future, so it'll be in my face and the keyboard will be far away. So yeah, boom arm. I'm gonna get one for up here, so maybe it'll show up on the camera too. That is where we stand with the decimals too, and spamming iron tournaments. Let's look at some tournaments. Let's look at what we've got. So iron, we have your best of 5 and then your weekly stuff, right? So you've got the daily stuff. The daily iron cap is supposed to be a cap. It has not been made a cap yet. I have a feeling the Daily Iron Cap is going to turn into an actual cap tournament in the future. I know that it was supposed to be a cap tournament. And so I think that's something that's going to get adjusted over the next couple of weeks. You got the late iron, which is 64 teams for 5 diamond packs. Fills up pretty quick. We're going to start throwing this team in there in order to maybe get some of that diamond pack action once this team actually has a decent team. Right now, I'm just trying to get enough packs to make an okay iron team for these guys. Daily early iron, same thing. You got 64 for 3 historical packs, which is a lot of fun too. And then you got the daily iron cap. And then the big iron tournament is your 128 team Saturday Iron Warriors tournament. 100 perfect card already full for this Saturday. It is currently Tuesday, and Amos Strunk is your 100 historical perfect that's going to be available in that tournament. This past week, it was a Chris Sale. As with Out of the Park Perfect Team 21, it looks like the Iron Warriors is going to be one of the best weekly rewards in the game. So hopefully it will. You're hoping to get a new setup in the next couple months too. Yeah, I'm hoping to as well. Hopefully my new kind of semi-real job will help me to be able to afford the things I need to make the setup really good. You do have a sub. What's going on? You agree the typing is super loud? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try to avoid typing as much as possible the rest of the stream too. It's really just the passwords that I type in, so apologies for it coming up. Bronze. What do we got in bronze? So you got your bronze. Let's scroll up. We got your bronze best of 5s, 16 team best of 5s, 2 standard packs, just like your iron best of 5s. So you got the best of 7s, which are 6 standard packs, 4 standard packs for 2nd place, and 2 standard packs for 3rd and 4th place. I think these are a pretty good bang for the buck right now. They are kicking off really fast as well. Not quite as fast as the 16 team irons, but kicking off really fast. And then you got the 18 bronze historicals for 150 perfect points. Go try out your teams, see what they do. It's a do or die. Very quick tournaments, 150 perfect point rewards for those ones. At the high end of the bronze stuff, you got daily bronze caps, which I'm trying to figure out right now. 64 teams for 3 historical packs. You got the late bronze for 5 diamond packs. There's packs all over the place. And then you got the Tuesday weekly bronze, which gives you a card. I believe it's 100. It is. So John McGraw today, it is a 100 rated card. Everything up to 16th place gets rewards. 1,000 perfect points for 9th through 16th, and then gold, diamond, and perfect cards for the top end of that one. You got the daily early bronze, which is 3 historical packs, and then your Friday bronze cap, which is the same format as the daily bronze cap, just with a better reward. 95 Edwin Diaz this week. So you're looking at some good card rewards. You're looking at some good pack rewards as well. So down there in bronze. That's mostly all I've looked at so far. So let's take a look at what else we got in silver and above and see what we're looking at here. There are all sorts of quick silver tournaments going on. So you've got silver live round robin. You've got silver non-live best of 5s. Oh, we won a pack. Awesome. 2nd place in an iron tournament. Thanks for messing up my screen. We got 3 packs on this team now. We got round robin silver historical. We got silver caps at 1625. I don't remember there being a silver cap last season, but I don't do caps too often, but that sounds like an interesting 1625. It's a little bit higher than the bronze non-live silver cap, so that'll be fun. The big ones that I'll be spamming pretty soon are the silver best of 7s, 6 packs, your regular 32 team reward tiers, and then your do or die 8-man silver teams, and then you got your weekly silvers. We got some good silver stuff going. McGraw's the best turn in the game right now. Good to know. You've been auto playing the bronze best of 5 and been killing them. You need to look at the team and actually figure out why. Yeah, I would appreciate that too. So there's a low frequency hum. I wonder if that's my stuff. I'll mess with the sound a little bit later today. If the sound gets really bad, let me know, and I'll see what I can do about it. We do have Sunday historical silvers. This is a weekly. Let's see. We have a daily late silver. The silvers are not filling up very fast right now, so keep that in mind. I found that it takes at least an hour. We're only up to 19 on the silvers, so people haven't really put their silver teams together yet, I don't think. We do have a daily silver that fills. That's for 5 diamond packs. That one tends to fill. It's going right now. It looks like it's going on right now. So we got a weekly historical silver. We're looking at a 99 card in that. It's Miguel Tejada on Sunday. We got your TRX's Monday silver. You'll notice some of these names. These guys won the Perfect Team Championships last season. We get a 99 Johnny Padres in that one on the Monday silver, which is just silver, open silver. So that's probably going to be a little bit of a barrier to entry there. The silvers the really good silvers do get pretty expensive. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a pretty big barrier to entry early on in these silvers. You got the daily early silvers for 3 historical packs, the Tuesday silver cap, 1,500 cap in that one. So way lower cap than this one. That might be one that I keep my eye on. Let's see what kind of rewards we have here. 98 Aramis Ramirez. So high diamond cards with some Bobby Parnell, 5th through 8 gets a pack. This might be something I keep my eye on for weekly tournaments. And then we've got the daily late silver for your 5 diamond packs, which kicks off every day. 64 teams, 5 diamond packs, followed by 3, followed by 1. Everything up to 16th place guys in this one gets a reward, which is a gold pack at 16th place. So pretty solid reward structure there on the daily late silver. So there's your silver tournaments. Yeah, you drop. So try refreshing or closing out the screen and coming back. You'll lose the chat, unfortunately, but there was a stream late last night. Yeah, it should have kicked over sometime early this morning. So I don't know how to troubleshoot that stuff for you other than try reloading or refreshing or try going back and manually in your drops, seeing if it's in there. So that's silver or lower, gold or lower. If you can't tell, I'm pretty excited about these tournaments at this point. The live silver, yeah, live silver looks great. I'm gonna have to figure out how to build a team. I need a big drop on this team to try to get some players in there. Gold, I mean, look at all these gold tournaments, guys. You've got gold historical round robin. We've got a 1750 cap. We've got a 1625 cap, which is a super low cap for a gold. That's lower than the silver cap that we were just looking at. The 1750 do or die. We got 1625 do or dies. All sorts of gold caps going on, which are really cool. I like gold caps because it helps the free to play players get some of these rewards in here too and be able to be competitive. Other quick tournaments, you got your regular 32, your regular do or die 8 team quick tournaments, and then a non-live best of 5. You're looking at packs, so standard packs, 150 points, your normal, exactly what you'd expect out of your quick tournament rewards there. For daily and weekly stuff, we've got your daily early, which is a historical pack, 32 team, for just 1 historical pack. Interesting. 2 gold packs for 2nd place and a gold pack for 3rd and 4th in that one. We've got the non-live. Well, that's a quick tournament that kicked off. So we got the daily gold round robin, 1232. That's a historical pack. Sounds like a fun. I love round robins. Those round robins get me every time. Daily late gold is good for 3 historical packs. You got 64 teams in that one. You got the Sporer Sandlot, which is good for a card. 99 Tejada this week. This one is a cap tournament. So 1981 overall cap with, I'm a sucker for these ones. 1981 historical stats and strategies. So that I'm going to be all over that one with the 1981. That's going to be one of my focused weekly tournaments right from the start. We'll see if I can't put a team together for that. Maybe next week is when I'm going to try actually putting a team. This week's for data. I'm in it for data this week. The team's not going to compete probably. I don't have money for these accounts. I don't have perfect points right now. You got the daily early gold, which is a historical pack for 32 teams. We got J-Ronk's Wednesday gold, which is a card. It's going to be a 98 Aramis Ramirez. Again, high diamonds there. Claim my pack. Let's see. Tuesday gold jackpot, Sunday gold double round robin, and then there's a Monday gold cap. A bunch of these have cards. Monthly gold cap challenge. I tend to let the big money players fill these tournaments up. I don't have money to really compete in these, and so it's not super worth it for me to gather data on it. Like the caps probably, but some of these things get really expensive and I don't have a ton of points for them. So those ones, we'll run gold tournaments, but those ones you're going to be largely on your own for those ones. We got low diamond, cards are lower is a thing now. Diamond live, let's see, we got daily low diamond, historical packs, 3 historical packs for low diamond cap. Wednesday low diamond is a card, which is a 100 Amos Strunk, not a tournament that I have any capability of competing in right now. And then your monthly low diamond challenge, 128 teams, number 1 first place finish gets a special edition Andy Messersmith, which we don't even have a picture for. Second place is that Miguel Tejada All-Star Special. You got a Betances, 2014 Betances, and a Carlton there as well. That's a 128 team monthly diamond tournament. And then you got diamond cards or lower. We've got perfect caps kicking off, 6 packs. You got so your 1875 caps, your 1750 caps, which could be fun. And then you got your historical cap, 1965, one that I'd really like to get into, but that's down the road. And then you got the Friday Super Diamond and the Wednesday Live Diamond, which could be interesting, with a special edition Dutch Leonard for the weekly Live Diamond. We'll see if we get into the live stuff later on. I'm not really sure what the plan's going to be for those. So again, this 4th team is going to, and then you've got your open tournament. So let's go open tournaments and see what we got there. So there you go. Those are your open tournaments. You got all your standard packs, 2 standard packs for the 8 teams, the 16 teams, 32 teams have 6 standard packs. The big stuff, you got Friday one-hit wonders. This is one that I'm going to look at for sure. I love these new things here. So the one-hit wonders, you got live cards only. You got snapshots. The Thursday snapshots is one that I am definitely focusing on. So Friday one-hit wonders, snapshot, and then the Unsung Heroes Classic are all going to be tournaments that I have at least one of my teams in every week. And I have plans for those for my channel. It's not going to be as in-depth as what you get on Tuesdays, but I do have plans for those weekly tournaments to see about getting those done. We got 3 packs here. Let's get some Iron stats out to you, shall we? I know you guys are here for the stats. You don't want to see me just talk about tournaments, so let's get right into the stats. Now, I had a hard time figuring out exactly how I wanted to do this. Let me get the rest of the screen up for you. I have 230,000 plate appearances worth of data here over the last 3 or 4 days for Iron. I had to figure out how I wanted to do it, because I wanted to get the guys you guys are using and see, hey, who are the good players that are getting used. But I also wanted to get out there maybe some of the guys that don't get seen as much that are doing okay. So I had to figure out where I was going to cut off the plate appearances for who's going to make the list. Because if I cut it off too low, all of a sudden I've got 920 catchers that are qualifying for these tournaments, and nobody really wants that. So I ended up making the cutoff for this week 250 plate appearances. I wanted to get some of those lesser used players and see how they're doing. Now, so take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. We will look at the guys who don't make it into the top 10. You can see we still had 24 catchers qualify. So that is quite a bit. That's a lot of qualifying catchers for Iron. You can see Ali Sanchez, and you'll notice that this week and the all-time are going to be exactly the same. It's all the tournaments we've been pulling since Friday. I didn't do trends or anything like that for the time being. It is so 250 plate appearances and 200 innings pitched, which I didn't like as much as the 250 plate appearances, but there's like 8 billion pitchers, and so I had to be a little bit careful. I didn't really want guys who had like 18 innings or anything like that. I thought about making 50 innings pitched the cutoff, but I really think that was just too small of a sample size to get anything worthwhile. So I made it 250 plate appearances, 200 innings pitched. With that said, we're going to burn through it a little bit because I don't have, I've got the normal time. I've got the normal 4 hours that I can fill, and I don't want to run out of time. I do want to put together a Iron team at the end of today, and I would like to do a draft too if we have time, so we'll see how fast we get through these cards, but remember, it's a pretty small sample size at this point, so take it all with a grain of salt. Ali Sanchez is the guy that's getting used the most. Garrett Stubbs, you'll notice a lot of live cards on these lists getting used a lot right now. You may or may not see too many of them in the top 10s too. 24 catchers qualified. We're looking at for the meta, We're looking at 75% right-handed pitching for starters and 67% for relief pitchers. So it's mostly right-handed pitchers at this point throughout these Iron tournaments. Batters is almost all right-handed. Well, not almost all, but 52% right-handed batters, which is the highest percentage of right-handed batters we've seen, I think, on the stream. So lots of right-handed batters, lots of right-handed pitching as teams start to fill their team. I think a lot of these teams right now are getting filled with your starter packs and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of lives being used, but I'm gonna throw this out there. The lives look pretty good down here in Iron 2. We won't talk about Bronze today, and I don't want to spoil anything, but the Iron's lives look pretty good, and the Bronze lives don't look terrible either. So we'll go through. So number 10 catcher Kurt Casalli. Again, this is mostly, I took defense out of it, so we'll talk defense as we go. But this is largely offensive. Weighted on base average plus steals plus whatever else got added in there for this week, but it's mostly weighted on base average is what they're ranked by here. And so Casalli comes in at number 10. He's number 1 in home runs, 41 home runs. Oh, that's what we didn't talk about too. Home runs are a real thing in Iron. Offenses are a real thing in Iron right now. 13.84 average home runs per 600, but there are some guys on the high end like Kurt Casalli, but over 299 plate appearances. I really don't think Casalli is going to keep up 41 home runs per 600 plate appearances. I just don't think that's going to be possible for him. With a 57 power and a 49 power against right-handed pitching, I think this is just kind of an aberration for Casalli. He is not very fast and doesn't have that much power. 41 home runs. Will there be a download? No, there will not be a downloadable file for these stats. However, I will post the summary up on my Discord. So if you want to see the summary of what we talk about, shoot me a message on Discord. But I don't post the whole thing. It's already a 80 megabyte spreadsheet, so I don't have anywhere that I can put it online that would be useful. Also, a lot of work goes into it, and I change it every week, and it's not going to get posted online. It is raining out. I love it. Awesome. So Casalli, I don't think he stays here. I think he drops over time. Number 9 is Bob Tillman. Pretty similar looking profile, and you can see we're down to 10 home runs per 600 for him. 8th in weighted on base average, though. 250 batting average, which is right around league average. 344 on base percentage puts him 5th among catchers. My Discord name, you can find me on the Out of the Park Discord as Angered Unicorn, or my main Discord name is Malivion, Malivion is my main Discord name. So either one of those should work over there on Discord. So Tillman is number 5 among catchers in on-base percentage, number 8 in weighted on-base average overall, 6th in strikeouts, 4th in walks. So he's going to get on base for you. What's he going to do on base is, nothing. He's going to jam up your base paths pretty badly, and he's not very good at defense either. You got a 28 catcher arm, which is a little bit scary. You'll see some pretty solid base runners here in Iron. I know the stolen bases are a little bit lower than they have been in the past, but there are some pretty good base stealers here in Iron. 62 ability and a 39 catcher rating. I really don't think that's going to get it done. I think Tillman gets phased out very, very quickly as far as Iron catchers. I don't think he lasts very long. Number 8, we see our first live card here in the top 10. It's Isaiah Kyner Felipe. Looks pretty similar to his last year's numbers. He's a 57 overall. Decent arm at 60, 41 ability, 47 catcher. What Felipe does this year, though, is play second base, third base, and shortstop as well. I don't think he played. I think he had a secondary position last year, but I don't think he played all 4 of those last year, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody just followed me on my channel, so thank you. Let me see who it was. Lobster Killer, thank you. Love your name, by the way. I'm a big fan of eating lobsters. What is it I'll send? A recommended? No, it'll just be, so it'll look like this. I'll go really quick to what it's going to look like. It looks like this. It's the top 10 that are on the list. So now go away from that because it's spoilers. You think Kyner Felipe is better at shortstop? We'll look at the shortstops. Defense is interesting here in Iron right now. And so Felipe got 3,100 plate appearances total. He's definitely getting used at places other than catcher. And it looks like shortstop, perhaps. I think he looks better at shortstop myself as well. So, but he showed up here as a catcher. And again, it's being able to separate them is a little bit difficult sometimes. Defensively, he's 13th in caught stealing percentage, but number 1 in stolen bases against per game. So keep that in mind too, as you decide on who your catcher is going to be. He does look like a pretty decent shortstop. We'll probably talk about him more then. Number 7 is Stephen Vogt, your number 4 most used catcher. He's alive. Pretty solid gap for him. Pretty solid power and eye against right-handed pitching for Stephen Vogt. 7th in weighted on base average among catchers. I would try to avoid stealing with him. He does have a negative net stolen base differential. The speed is hurting him. He's got a decent steal ability, but the speed is hurting him quite a bit. Defensively at catcher, you're seeing a 44 arm, 60 ability, 50 catcher rating, which is not as bad as some of the other guys we've seen on the list so far, but still I think it can leave a little bit to be desired. 22% caught stealing percentage and a stolen bases per game of 1.04 for Stephen Vogt. What do you got? You've claimed 2, none have shown up. Yeah, you're gonna want to post that on the board. Message one of the developers. And number 6 is Terry Humphrey, dropping a 320 weighted on base average and 6th in on base percentage, 7th in batting average. He's got a 52 arm, 54 ability, 51 catcher rating. Solid gap against right-handed pitching, a little bit more power against lefties, but a 31, I'm not going to even factor that into my decision making. I think Humphrey's one of those guys who's dropped a lot in the opening packs, so he's getting used a lot. I have a feeling that he drops off as we go forward too. 723 plate appearances for him, though. He's the 9th most used catcher over the course of these 230 or so thousand plate appearances for Humphrey. Next up at number 5, Glenn Borgman, your 6th most used. He's, we're getting up into kind of solid defense with a little bit of offense to go along with it. 58 arm. It's a little scary, but not terrible. 71 ability and a 69 catcher rating. Some of these other guys have been really low. 69, I think, is the highest catcher rating we've seen so far, and by quite a bit. So Borgman at number 5, dropping a pretty solid weighted on base average, solid caught stealing percentage at 27.1, top 10, 8th in stolen bases against per game, 253 batting average, 348, 6 on base percentage, a little bit of power, not a ton, 12.67. I have a feeling that number comes down over the long term. Again, there's a lot more home runs here than I expected to see. And then the 323 weighted on base average has him 5th. So Borgman's an interesting starting catcher here in the top 5, cracking into the top 5. The spreadsheet is not available right now, no. Number 4 is Zach Taylor. You're looking at a lower catcher ability, 38, 62 arm, but a huge avoid Ks. Number 1 in batting average with his avoid Ks plus his contact, which is pretty solid at 55, which is an 80 avoid Ks. You're going to, with a 55 contact in iron right now, you're going to have a lot of singles and a pretty decent on base percentage. Has him 7th, 3rd in weighted on base average, 5th in slugging, which a lot of that is from his singles. So keep that in mind. It's very batting average driven slugging percentage. Number 1 batting average among catchers right now, over 468 plate appearances. Defensively, he's throwing guys out. 30.9% caught stealing percentage, 0.99 stolen bases against per game is 3rd. The catcher ERA is jacked right now, so I'm going to have to fix that. Some of the things changed in the things, so I'm going to have to ignore catcher earned run average because I'm going to have to fix it. It is a mess. In fact, it's such a mess that I'm just going to go like that, and we're not going to bother with it at all. And so 12th in zone rating, whatever, for a catcher. And so Zach Taylor at number 4. Number 3 is Mac Wheat. He comes in at number 3. He's a 56 rated card, a little bit of power here. Number 2 in home runs per 600, 56, 58 power versus lefties. If you want data, you need to collect it yourself. I'll put the rankings up. No, you're good. Don't worry about it. You're not going to do iron tourneys this year. No best of 7s with DH. We'll be doing bronze best of 7s instead. Yeah, I'm liking the bronze best of 7s too. I like both of these. I like the iron because they kick off really fast. So it's pretty cool for me from a data standpoint because I just get knocked out of them anyway. So I get into when I'm paying attention, when I'm sitting at the computer and paying attention, I get into 8, 9, tournaments an hour. That's not true, but it's a lot. Number 2 is Tex Irwin. He is second in weighted on base average, just about 20 home runs per 600 over a 450 plate appearance sample size. Second in on base percentage. The batting average is a little bit lower. It's a walk driven on base percentage, but he's got a little bit of power there too. So, and a little bit of speed. You're seeing 17 steals per 600 from him. I think Tex Irwin might be a sleeper for an interesting catcher if you're willing to ignore defense for Tex Irwin. So the defense is not great. 14th in caught stealing percentage, 17th in stolen bases against per game. The zone rating's not great either. So he's not going to play good defensively, but he's a pretty solid looking offensive catcher coming in at number 2. Yeah, it's great start. Yeah, agreed. Great for a month or two. I will be running them the whole time because I know they're pretty. Chris did say tournaments will come and go throughout the year. Yeah, I really think we're going to see a best of 7 iron tournament in the near future. In the maybe not the very near future, but when they roll over the tournaments for the first time. So I agree. I think it's great to grind out wins in iron for a little bit, get some of those packs, hopefully get a hit in some of those packs. It takes one hit. It takes one really good hit, especially if you're free to play, and so tournaments are really important to you. It really just takes one pack hit to set your team up to be pretty good and pretty competitive in the not so distant future. For me last year, it was the decimals hit on Huey Jennings that I sold for 400. We opened 400 or so packs with that, and all of a sudden the team's really good in gold, competitive. Well, I should say really good in silver, competitive in gold, and then gets up to diamond pretty quick. It was a struggle in diamond, mediocre in diamond, because it stayed free to play packs only the whole cycle, right up there until the very end. But it just takes one pack hit, and you never know when you're going to get lucky on some of these packs. So especially since the barrier to entry. So I will say that right now the barrier to entry on iron is pretty low. You're seeing a lot of live cards get used. You're going to see some live cards. We're going to talk about Ali Sanchez in a minute. He's not number 1, but we will talk about him in just a minute. And so the barrier to entry on these 16-team tournaments is really low. The tournaments kick off a lot, and then it's and you never know when you're going to get that one hit that you need to really set your team up to be pretty competitive early on. So that's my feeling on these iron tournaments. Number 1 is Josh Paul, 305 plate appearances right now. Number 1 in weighted on base average. Again, I don't know that this is one that holds up. Maybe versus lefties, a platoon. He looks like a platoonable guy versus lefties. The 64 gap versus 52 against righties, 31 power versus 25, 61 I versus 49. So if you're looking to run a platoon at catcher, the defense doesn't look great. I think Paul probably gets phased out. He looks like an interesting guy for the unsung heroes, perhaps when we start looking at the unsung heroes tournaments, but I think that this is a guy who probably gets phased out pretty quickly too. You are seeing over 20 home runs per 600 from him, which again I don't think is really sustainable for him. It is just a 305 plate appearance sample size at this point, so I have a feeling when we up the plate appearances to 600, it changes a lot right now. But I really wanted to get, and that'll be for next week. Bronze will probably be 600 next week because I'm going to have enough data for that. But I really wanted to get some of the guys out there that we don't necessarily get to see. So we go back to number 10 and start working our way backwards. You see Elias Diaz at number 11. Decent arm, 70 arm, 61 catcher rating, third most used catcher. Weighted on base average, he's 11th, 9th in home runs for Elias Diaz. Sanchez defense. So yeah, the defense is I don't use defense in here anymore right now. I'm not using it for this week. We'll see if I put it back in going forward. We are going to talk about Sanchez though. The iron 1250 cap looks like a challenge. Yeah, that should be fun. Stubbs comes in at number 12. He's your second most used. Stubbs is a guy who has a couple secondary positions though. I'm not sure that I would play him at any of those positions based off of what I'm seeing on his profile here. A 46 outfield range with a negligible bat just doesn't help me out in left field or right field, and that is grossly unplayable at second base. Even in this era where defense is not really as big of a deal as it was last year in iron, I don't think that plays at second base. But you're seeing 10 home runs, some base running for Stubbs as well, something only 2 or 3 of these catchers have. Jesse Levis comes in at number 13. Where are you at? Ben Boone, who's the fifth most used, comes in at number 16. Again, the defense looks okay for him, top 10 there. Seventh in stolen bases against. Where is he at? Sanchez. So Sanchez is the number one most used right now, and I'm not surprised at all. The bat isn't very good, but it's not. I don't think it's terrible compared to some of these other guys. You're seeing a 238 batting average. Kind of these guys that are clustered in the middle are kind of I like Sanchez's defense. Catcher's an important defensive position for me, and they have said that catcher ability and pitch framing is going to be more important this year. He's number one in caught stealing percentage, number 5 in stolen bases against per game. I'm not sure what he's at in catcher earn. Number 6 in zone rating. He's the best defensive catcher at iron. You're seeing a 290 weighted on base average right now, 326 slugging, and I have a feeling some of those higher guys that only have three or 400 plate appearances right now kind of settle back down into this range too. So I think over time Sanchez probably moves up into the top 10, even offensively. I don't think he's so bad defensively it is unusable. I think he's the guy that I want as my catcher. And so I'm gonna real quick show you one of my handy dandy team building tool that I'm working on right now. You'll notice a number up here. I don't know if you guys can see it too well on there. So this is the card ID. And so I use the card ID as opposed to this for all of the things that I do. So all of the data that it looks up is based off of card ID. It's a unique identifier for each card in the game. And so I'm building a tool to kind of track what I'm wanting to do with the team. And I think Sanchez at iron is what I want as my starting catcher. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw 25690 in here. And so this is just going to kind of tell me what I want to build later on. We're going to delete him here because I want him to be my starter. As my backup, I don't really know. Maybe Stubbs, who is here. Stubbs looked okay defensively too, and has the ability to back up at second base, left field, right field. I really think Conor Felipe, we're going to check out Conor Felipe at shortstop and see if he's better at shortstop and how he matches up against them. I actually, based off of what I'm seeing, my teams right now, I haven't really put an iron team together yet. So they're all kind of off of the packs that I've built. I've just kind of let the AI build a team. I haven't looked too much into it. But based off of what little I've looked into it, this looks like a pretty good shortstop card to me. So I think Kyner Felipe is probably going to be at shortstop, but we will talk about him when we get there. Maybe a Vogt. Any of these guys, maybe a Borgman, number 5 and weighted on base average right now, a little bit of home runs. Let's throw Borgman in there as our backup catcher, just to be crazy for now. So 24777, and then it shows me what rank they are among their position. It's just a dumb tool that I built in 30 minutes last night. I don't know if it's going to help me at all or not. So let's move on to the first baseman, shall we? It's most used. Yeah, on the left is most used. Who are the most used players? So yeah, this is, for those of you who are new, who haven't been here before, this is just who got used the most at this position, and this is specifically listed at this position, and then this is their current. One thing that I did notice when I'm allowing the AI to put my teams together is when I click AI set up the team or whatever, it automatically swaps their position that they're listed at to whatever it sets them to. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think that'll help us out with defense when I get a chance to dive into it a little bit more. And so I think that's a pretty awesome change for the current tournament stuff. Still waiting for Gorgo to tell us who the bronze player is. I might have missed something in the chat. You guys move really fast for me. Somebody signed Jeff Mathis. First base. We had 20 qualifiers at first base. McBroom comes in at number 10. Defensively, the range is 27. The error is 54. The first base ratings, okay. He's showing a zone rating, a positive zone rating right now. Again, I haven't dived into the defensive stuff too much yet. I have a feeling that some of it's going to be super wonky right now. There were some things that changed in the downloads that it should all work. Like the zone, everything except for the catcher ERA should be pretty okay, I think. But if we see anything super strange, just know that defense is still a work in progress in these tournaments. I would love for them to start tracking it by position so that I can download it by position, but it doesn't work right now. So we will keep making it a work in progress. McBroom, we're seeing almost 30 home runs per 600 plate appearances, which puts him 7th among first basemen, 9th in weighted on base average. He does have a positive net steals per 600. But his speed is 26 and his steal is 23, so that's a little bit surprising to me. And I imagine if people are having him steal too often, you're going to see that number dip down into the negatives. Does have a little bit of left field and a little bit of right field. 4th most used. You'll see all the top 9 here are all live cards. So whether that means they're very usable or not right now, we talked about him on Discord last night. Let's see what we get out of Steve Balboni. And so we'll see what they look like going forward. Number 9 is Billy McKinney. Live right field, Billy McKinney getting some play at first base. Not on the list, so it's a pretty small sample size at first base, but 11th in weighted on base average, has a little bit of speed. The first base, I wouldn't play him at first base. He just had enough to qualify as a first baseman. It's probably somewhere right around that 250 plate appearances as a first baseman. Looks okay as a left fielder and right fielder. We'll probably talk about him more then. I think he's got interesting ratings, but I really think that he should probably be in left field or right field. Yeah, 14 defense at first base. I don't like it, with a 23 error as well. So we'll talk McKinney when we get to the outfield probably. Number 8 is Josh Naylor. He's your 2nd most used first baseman. Again, 22 first base rating. I like him better in the outfield or as a designated hitter, but these tournaments don't have a designated hitter, I don't think. We got eliminated. Darn it. Let me check and make sure so I'm not talking out of orifices you're not supposed to talk about when it comes to that. There is no designated hitter. I was correct. My brain sometimes gets mushy. We're going to sign up for that one. And so Naylor, I think, loses a little bit of his usefulness because of that. But he does play 3 positions, first base, left field, right field. He is a pretty solid bat, too. So 3rd in batting average among first basemen, almost 20 home runs per 600. Weighted on base average of 352. Not a lot of speed, but good base running, 52 steal, 58 base running ability for Naylor. It puts him here solidly at number 8 among your first basemen. At number 7 is John Nogowski. Defense looks a little bit better here. Offensively, you're seeing pretty good avoid Ks. A little bit of a split versus righties, which is good right now. There's a lot of righties, but it's not a huge split. Not so much that I would even say you can't play him every day. The speed's a little bit lower, but we're looking at almost 30 home runs and a 354 weighted on base average from him. Almost a 260 batting average and a 350 on base percentage for Nogowski. He feels like an expensive pinch hitter in this mode. Maybe. Yeah, or, you know, the thing about him is that he does, we just froze for a second, so give it a second to catch up. Sometimes Excel's like, it's too big. The data is too much. There's too much data. And so he does play a couple positions in the outfield. And again, defense at Iron is different this year than it was last year. So gone are the days of the 100 range in Iron. I think defense, good defensive cards are automatically ending up silver and gold just based off of their defense right now, too, from what I'm seeing. So Nogowski, decent defense, solid looking bat, not a lot of speed, but he's an interesting option with a 354 weighted on base average and 29 almost home runs per 600. Number 6 is Darren Ruff. Your 5th most used. Again, we're seeing a 57 error. The range is a little bit low, but a 57 error with a 57 first base rating. I don't know his height offhand. He's showing number 5 defensively as far as first baseman. Number 1 in on base percentage. Number 7 in weighted on base average. Number 9 in OPS. So top 10 in all of those. Number 2 in walks. So it's a very walk driven OPS, but 25 home runs per 600. I imagine if we start seeing a couple more lefties, he becomes a little bit more useful. But right now, with almost, over 70% of all pitchers right now are right-handed. So Ruff is a platoon option, pretty big splits, especially in power, in I, and in avoid Ks versus left-handed pitching. So maybe a platoon option versus lefties here in Iron. Only the one position for him as well. Number 5 is Mike Ford, your most used first baseman here in Iron. And I like him right now. 359 weighted on base average, almost 28 home runs per 600, fourth in on-base percentage at 359. Batting average is a little bit low. He does draw walks. He doesn't strike out a ton. Again, the weighted on-base average is fifth. The power is there. The defense looks okay. 50 error with a 55 first base rating, 28 range. So, but still kind of looks okay as far as zone rating for Mike Ford. He's a good-looking, solid live option. Probably pretty cheap. You can probably get him for 25 points or something at this point already. And he's one towards your Yankees 15 or cap. Haven't seen any team that really... Yeah, there's probably not a lot of platoons right now. I don't get too worked up over roster spots. Yeah, and that's fair too. Do need more data. I agree. Juiced arrow cards in general ended in 21. We're back to more what 20 was like. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Sally needs more coffee. I might have missed something up there too. How do you download? I can talk about downloading Spleen. Sorry, I missed that earlier. I'll talk about downloading data in a little bit. I'll try to remember. And if I don't remember, hit me up on Discord and I'll shoot. I can put together a tutorial in 5 minutes on how to download data. What you do with it after you download it, we can talk about that. That'll be a different stream. I don't have time for that today. But I can at least show you how to get the data out of the park into an Excel spreadsheet. Number 4 is Matt Beatty. This is another live card. He's number 4 in weighted on base average, 20 home runs per 600. Number 1 in batting average, 289 batting average over a 1256 plate appearance sample size. We did not see too many cards in Perfect Team 21 that had a 289 batting average down here in Iron. That's a pretty solid batting average, well above league average. Not a ton of power here. So if you're looking for power out of your first baseman, you're not going to find it too much. He is a third baseman by trade. A little scary at third base. Left field looks okay. Right field's a little bit scary. First base looks okay. He can play 4 positions. So, you know, if you want to have your 2 catchers and then a guy that plays first base, third base, left field, right field to play every day, then that's okay. Again, I know the defense. I'm still getting used to the defense here because it is not as good as it used to be. So I see like a 51 range in left field. I'm like, but then I realized that that's not terrible in Iron this year. It's not. That's not a death knell like it was last year in Iron. And so 4th and WAR for him. For Matt Beatty at this point among first basemen. But keep in mind that a lot of that is coming from playing left field and third base probably as well too. First basemen just don't earn as much defensive WAR as the other positions on the field too. Stanton hits early. They did, yeah, power is a real thing this year from what I'm seeing so far. It is taking time to adjust, and you got Stanton and LeMay from a gold pack. Nice. You unlocked from drops that gave you 15 Braves. Awesome. And the 15 Brave. You got 15. Cool. Good on you for getting that Stanton. Yeah, it's power is a real thing this year. It is back. Justin Williams doesn't even have a first base ranking. Somebody's putting him at first base. Not sure why. He's got a 34 infield error. We'll ignore him for now, and he will get phased out for the next stream. He does play left field and right field. I'm going to guess that we're going to talk about him as either a left fielder or a right fielder. Taylor Jones comes in at number 2. Interesting. Taylor Jones is giving you guys 30 home runs per 600 plate appearances, over 3,000 plate appearances. A 369 weighted on base average, solid on base percentage, 271 batting average, 483 slugging, 842 OPS, and plays good defense at first base. I mean, that's a good looking first base card, right? The 90 is a lie. Let me look him up. I don't know. What's his name? I forgot his name already. 91st base rating, Taylor Jones. I need to get into the tournament. Let me in. We need a Taylor Jones to drop. Let's see if he's in this tournament. Jones. If not, I'll look him up on the auction house. He's not. Auction house. Let's go Taylor Jones. See if there's any on auction. Nope, that's not a lie. He is a 90 rated first baseman with solid power. He's not going to be an Iron for very long, so enjoy him while you have him. Really surprised to see this card be an Iron at first base. That's a little surprising to me. I think this is my guy. I think he's the guy we're going to plug in. Number 1, Ryan O'Hearn comes in at number 1 among first basemen. 375 weighted on base average. Only 346 plate appearances for him at this point. So he's 4th in home runs with 30. I think all of those numbers probably come down just a little bit. I am right now plugging 26021 into my desired first baseman. That is, I don't know. That looks pretty good. He looks pretty good. And so, yeah, sorry, you guys are going really fast. You've been trying to get Dykstra. You need 3 more. Awesome. People already finishing collections. I'm so jealous. I have none. It's on the card. It's Jones, but doesn't hit like Ford. Yeah, Ford's a pretty solid bat too. And he's got even a bigger sample size at this point too. So both of them look pretty good. It's either one. I like Ford too. I maybe make Ford my backup. So I'm going to throw that 26418 in there. 26418 in there for Ford. He's already up there. And so we may go with Ford and Jones depending on roster spots. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. As far as guys that didn't make the list, we had Matheson, who was 6th, came in at 11th. Elias Diaz is a third baseman with a 9 at first base, so I wouldn't play him there. Josh Rojas is a left fielder, doesn't even have a first base rating. Lewin Davis looks okay. Whoa, be quiet, phone. And then you've got Travis Blankenthorne at 15, Anderson Tejada at 16. There's Steve Balboni. So we talked a little bit about Steve Balboni on Discord and one of my other Discord channels last night. I'm seeing a lot of home runs from Steve Balboni, but that's about it. His batting average is below 200. His on-base percentage is 325, though. He will walk and he will hit home runs and he will not do much else. So if you're really looking for a guy who's going to do those 2 things for you, maybe Steve Balboni fits that role. He is going to hit home runs. It is a thing in iron. And so this 95 power, 84 versus righties can be useful. There's a way to make this useful for your team. I don't know if it makes him useful for my team at this point. I'm going to do the second baseman real quick and then take a quick break. Can you see O'Hearn again real quick? Let's go back to, where was he? There's O'Hearn. I guess we did kind of glance over him pretty quickly. O'Hearn's at 30 home runs per 600. Number 1 in slugging and OPS and weighted on base average. 375 weighted on base average, but it is only a 346 plate appearance sample set, so we need a little bit. There is no DH in these leagues right now. Correct. You should be able to use it in iron leagues. I think, but there's your O'Hearn again. 67 power versus righty, 62 gap, 64 eye. I mean, it's an okay looking iron card. This could be when that iron cap tournament actually starts being a cap tournament. He's a 52 rated first baseman with solid looking power. This could be an interesting option early on if he doesn't bounce up to like a bronze or something ridiculous too. No problem. Second baseman, number 10, was Jack Mayfield. He's the 3rd most used, 61 range. So let's keep that in mind. 61 range with 60 arm, 57 error, 59 at second base. Good contact abilities, 9th in weighted on base average, low on base percentage. He's got some power, which is something we didn't see out of a lot of second basemen last season. And he is a live card, so I have a feeling you're going to see some offensive minded second baseman. Again, we're going to go back through the second half of the list too. He's grading out 8th in zone rating at second base. We had 26 qualifiers at second base for this stream. Number 9 is Elvis Andrews. This is another live card. 61 range compared to 61. No second base rating for him, though, so that's a little bit interesting. He is playing poorly at second base, as would be expected, just getting some playing time at probably 250 plate appearances. So we'll move on to number 8, who is Max Schrock, who has a 55 range with 68 double play and a 61 error at second base. 57 second base rating, 8th in weighted on base average, 13 home runs per 600. Walks, top 10 in walks, 8th in on base percentage, and 9th in slugging for Schrock. And a little bit of speed to go along with it. Iron best of 5 was no DH last year too. Gotcha. Yeah, so some of them, so it goes based off of what they're listed as on the tournament. So if somebody plays them at second base, then they get listed, especially if somebody doesn't have a second baseman and they use the AI to put it all together, they're going to show up for now at second base. So those are bugs that'll get worked out as we get up to, as we go to 600 plate appearances. If I put him at 600 plate appearances for the cutoff, he wouldn't even show up on the list. So number 7 is Leury Garcia, who's got a 62 range with a 78 infield arm. Interesting looking second baseman here. 22 zone rating per 162, but some of that's going to be him shortstop and some third base. And again, the zone rating is really tough to keep in mind. I'm going to try to make the defense based off of their ratings at position. That's a project I'm going to try to get to this week, is to make it ratings based as opposed to stats based, for where they get graded out defensively. The problem with Leury Garcia is that he's not a bad looking center fielder or left fielder either defensively. 59 defense with a 78 arm, 56 error at second base. What are these other guys? 61. That's the highest range we've seen so far. And he's dropping a 332 weighted on base average with a 421 slugging percentage and a 292 batting average out of a guy that can play some second base defense. Not too bad, not too shabby. Number 6 is Ildemaro Vargas. We're seeing a 55 range for him with a 56 rating at second base, 56 arm, 53 double play, 68 error. I still think that off of what I'm seeing so far, Garcia, out of the 5 guys we've looked at, is probably my best looking defensive second baseman. However, Vargas has a 284 average with a 334 on base percentage, 14 home runs, 436 batting average, 338 weighted on base average, over 1,145 total plate appearances for him. He's not on this list because he doesn't have that many as a second baseman. He's probably getting listed as a third baseman as well, which I think he looks playable at third base. We'll see when we get over there. Shortstop, a little bit more dicey at shortstop, I think, but an 81 avoid Ks with a 52 contact and a 60 gap. You're going to get a pretty good batting average out of that and a pretty good slugging. There's going to be a lot of doubles in there. And so this is a solid looking like number 2 hitter for me in Vargas. If you're going to throw him in your lineup, I don't think he looks too bad as a number 2 hitter. Number 5 is Harold Castro, 61 range, 55 double play. Arm's a little bit lower. We don't pay too much attention to that at second base. 54 second base rating. He is live as well. Lots of live cards here. He looks kind of like Vargas, but a little bit lower. Smaller sample size of 1032, but putting up a 309 batting average. Are you kidding me? These guys might be important here with no defense in iron too. These ground ball hitters, with good contact and decent avoid Ks, could be really valuable here in iron this season. Center field and middle infield defense seems to be 3 bands, a few okay, hundreds of men, and a few no-nos. Yeah, agreed, Luke. That's what I'm seeing right now too. So Castro looks interesting. I'm starting to think that ground ball players are going to be really important here in iron for this season, because there is just no defense. Number 4 is Vimal Machine. I probably said that wrong, but we're going to go with it. 342 weighted on base average for him, a 380 on base percentage. Number 2 in WAR, plays a little bit of second base, shortstop, third base, listed as a third baseman. 63 range, so we're looking up a little bit here with a 71 error and a 62 arm. I like all of those. I like them a little bit better over here at third base, if I'm being totally honest. I kind of like Machine better as a third baseman than as a second baseman, just offhand. I can live with a 45 rating at third base here in iron. At number 3, Josh Harrison, who only plays second base. Remember when Josh Harrison used to play everywhere? Now he's just a second baseman and a bad third baseman. Doesn't look great offhand. It's a 1,300 plate appearance sample size. I don't think that holds up. He's going to hit lefties pretty well. And again, ground ball hitter, getting away with the high batting average. You might see some really high batting averages in ground ball hitters, especially versus lefties. If you can fit a platoon option here for Harrison at second base and have somebody else playing against righties, but the splits aren't huge. 6, 8, 3, 1, and 4 points going from bottom to top with a little bit of speed. Can bunt a little bit. Harrison's not unusable. Third and weighted on base average right now, but I suspect those numbers, especially the power number, comes down a little bit over time. But maybe I just have to totally recalculate my idea of what a batter in iron for this tournament is going to be. One thing I didn't think about up until right now, you may have seen it cross my eye, is that 13 home runs per 600 plate appearances is factoring in the pitchers hitting as well. So that might be something that I need to figure out how to fix as well. And there are ways for me to do that I will do. Not to beat a dead horse, but any news on the mobile app? No recent news right now, Fred. Sorry. Remember when Josh Harrison was actually good? Yeah, there was a season or two there that Harrison was 2013 or so when he was good. Number 2 at second base, Daniel Robertson. He's your 4th most used second baseman. Decent eye with decent gap. He's a normal hitter. 272 average is a little lower than some of those ground ball hitters we've seen. On base percentage is 3rd, 2nd in weighted on base average, 3rd in WAR for him. He plays a little bit of third base, a little bit of shortstop. Lots of options here. He's an interesting option for a infield utility player based off of what I'm seeing so far from the second baseman. 58 gap, 64 gap. A little bit of a left-handed split there. Pretty big eye split, 11 points of eye versus left-handed pitching. Not a ton of speed. Maybe a utility infielder for Robertson. Again, he's live, so he's getting used a ton. But number 2 in weighted on base average. Lots of doubles. Solid on base percentage. The eye both ways. Good on base percentage with a good OPS, with a good weighted on base average. Can play second base and third base for sure. Shortstop's a little scarier, but number 1 is Danny Mendik. Again, solid looking. As far as bats go, number 1 in weighted on base average, on base percentage, slugging, OPS. You got some power in there. 50 plus power against both lefties and righties. 50 plus gap against both lefties and righties. A good eye to go along with it. And avoid K that's just below that 50 cutoff with some speed. The ability to bunt and solid defense at second base. A 64 range, 65 arm, 55 double play, 62 error is right up there with a couple of the better guys that we've seen so far. Doesn't the same parent company own them in 9 innings that Ukarin does a crossover for? Yes, I believe so. Harrison went to Princeton High School in suburbs since that you have a couple of granddaughters who are going to high school. And that's pretty awesome, Gorgo. Nobody famous is from my town, any of my towns. O'Hearn was one at 2013 to 15. Harrison was crazy. He was on I had him on my fantasy team back then. He was absolutely nuts. Let's find your most used second baseman. So Lopez and Wade, I don't think we saw on the list. So there's Kurt Roberts with a 78 range. So there's a little bit of defense there. 56 arm. The error is a little bit scary for Kurt Roberts at second base. He is grading out to a pretty solid zone rating right now with a 66 second base rating. That's the highest range we've seen among second basemen so far for the unsung heroes. Offensively, 325. Weighted on base average. Good on base percentage, though, for Kurt Roberts. Doesn't strike out, doesn't walk, puts the ball in play. Number 12 is Tyler. There's Tyler Wade, who's the second most used right now. He's a ground ball hitter. 244 average is hurtful right now. On base percentage of 331, 312. Weighted on base average. Stewart is from your hometown. I'll stay away from that one. And Bloomington, Indiana. Yeah, lots of people coming from Indiana. I tried to look up famous people from my hometown. There just aren't any. One of the writers for LA Confidential went to my college. I'm not going to say which one. Steals. We got some speed for Tyler Wade here and plays a whole bunch of positions, which another guy who's interesting looking as a utility player. Doesn't look too bad there. I want to find Nikki Lopez. Yolmer Sanchez looks decent defensively, second in zone rating, 22.25, plays a little bit of third base as well. Offensively, 261 average, solid on base percentage at 339. Everything else is just kind of meh right now. But I think if we go up to 600 plate appearances, he probably moves up towards the top 10. Interesting looking card. Second and third base. I wouldn't play him at shortstop. That 6 rating at shortstop's a little bit scary, but these are decent numbers against righties and pretty okay against lefties too, with a little bit of speed. Next is Chad Faunville at 14. There's Conor Felipe with a little bit of second base. We're going to find out what he does at shortstop. Bob Baylor at 16. 69 range. Conor Felipe with a 73. Solid range at second base. Luis Garcia, 59 range, 75 arm at second base. Where you at, Nikki Lopez? Nikki Lopez, here he is. Number 5 defensively, 11.36 zone rating, 74 range, 65 arm, 68 turn double play, 78 error. Looks like he's getting a little bit of play at shortstop as well, which I don't hate. I'm really interested to see the shortstops defensively. Offensively, he's a little bit of a black hole at this point. Ground ball batter, you would think these would be a little bit higher. 248 average, 338 on base percentage. The slugging is low, which is expected with that power and a pretty low gap. He doesn't have the gap to make up for the slugging percentage and the OPS, but I would have expected his batting average to be just a little bit higher. But the 43-46 contact is pretty low from a batting average, balls in play standpoint. He's not going to walk a ton to make up for it for the on base percentage either. Good looking defensive second baseman, though, if that's your thing. How is Sanchez iron? Which one? Find Sanchez. Yolmer? I don't think this card's going to be iron for very long. That looks way, way too good to be an iron card for me. And the reason listed as a third baseman. Yeah, I don't know how this card's iron. So get it in there when you can. Surprised Brent Abernathy isn't in play somewhere. Let's see if he's here anywhere. There he is. 21. He came in 21, 67 range, 65 second base rating. He grades out, doesn't have enough innings. So he didn't have enough innings to qualify at second base. Only 254 plate appearances, but they look mediocre at best right now for Abernathy. If his contact was just a little bit higher, this would be a solid looking card. But I think that contact's just a little bit too low to utilize that avoid K and make up for that I for Abernathy. I did a little bit of research over the last couple weeks on exactly how these things work, and this is a guy that contact would need to be in the 55 to 60 rating here at iron to make up for the poor eye with poor power. So that's I don't know that Abernathy is necessarily usable right now. You have Sanchez at third base. The first live update, I think it's going to be next month. I don't know if they don't play until Thursday. So I think it'll be May 1st. They're saying every month for the live updates. I'm sure if they see something that's really messed up, maybe they'll change it. But and Sanchez is doing great at third base for you. Awesome. Good to hear. I'm going to take a quick break as Excel freezes for just a minute. And then I'm going to go refresh my coffee, and I'm going to grab a drink real quick. And so I'll be back in just a minute. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me today. Bronze will be next week. Let's see. What did I miss in chat? Every month, doing great. Coffee, cold. No beer, not anymore. Hangovers kill me now, so I don't do that anymore. You got a Buxton from Drop Packs. Nice, congratulations. That's not a bad one. Oh, I do have to change the pause screen. Good point. Thank you for giving me the heads up on that. I should write that down, but I don't have a pencil, so I will try to remember it. Third baseman. We have 28 third basemen who got 250 or more plate appearances over the last few days. That's a ton. Number 10 is Bobby Lowe. Defense, 45 range, 62 arm. A little bit of speed for him. Lots of steals. He's a 1901 unsung hero. There aren't a ton of cards here at Iron that are elite base stealers. He's one of them. Unfortunately, his on-base percentage is only 328. Which is actually right around league average. The batting average of 270 is not bad. The slugging percentage at 354 is not bad. But they're all 22nd, 21st among third basemen and weighted on base average at 306, which is pretty bad. A little bit of home runs, not going to strike out very much, and he will steal when he's on base. So he's a 55 rated third baseman, Bobby Lowe. You got a Bregman from Drops. Congratulations. And thanks, Big Red. I appreciate it. Who am I going to go with at second base? Good. I think I'm going to go with Nikki Lopez. Actually, I'm not sure. So Mendik is up there. Do I want to go all offense? Or let's see. I like Laurie. Laurie doesn't look bad, but I think we're going to want him in the outfield. Although getting him here, putting him here gives us a little bit of extra at second base. I know his zone rating looks bad, but I don't think it's that bad at second base. Not Andrews. Not Kurt Roberts. We're going to look at Yolmer at third base. I think Yolmer is going to be the guy at third base. Is who we're going to want at third base. Conor Felipe might be a shortstop, but not a second baseman. Baylor's a little bit low. Luis Garcia, 307 weighted on base average. Batting average a little bit low. Nikki Lopez at a 248. I don't love Lopez here, guys. I don't know that he's far and away the best defensive second baseman. I didn't see who number 1 was. Might not be on this list, actually. He should be. 4-2 for Sanchez. Number 1 was Vargas, which I don't think holds up. I don't see him being the number 1 second baseman, but offensively, with some speed, I don't know. Vargas, I don't know. This is tough. This is tough. Or use a timer. Yolmer is my third. Do you have to claim a drop before the clock? Yes, I believe so. No more playing in the background to collect packs. Man, this is second base is tough. Second base is tough here. Machine looks kind of interesting. Let's see. I wish his contact was just a little bit higher. Harrison looks good versus lefties, but Mendik. I don't love any of these cards. The way like I saw Kaz Matsui last year, I was like, I love this card. This is my second baseman. I don't love any of these cards that much. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna plug Leury Garcia in there for now and play him at second base and see how that goes. Because then I think we can get a better bat in left field. So I'm gonna go with Garcia 26337. And see if we can't get a good bat in left field. I know that defensively it shows him rating pretty low, but again, I think that's center field, right field, third base stuff getting caught up in it with the second base. He doesn't look that bad at second base to me. Congratulations, Enigma. What did you get? Acuna's up there too. You pulled your second 100 out of a gold pack. Got Acuna Jr. Nice. We got a gold mat. Man, you guys are killing it on the packs. I hope my packs are as hot as yours when I get to open them. 10, Bobby Lowe. We talked about him. 9 is Elias Diaz. 62 range, 62 arm, 42 third base rating, not great. Offensively, 340 weighted on base average, 779 OPS, slugging at 4th. Home runs 23 puts him at 6th. Oh man, that's a good one, Enigma. That is outstanding. Congratulations on the Eddie Matthews. Slugging looks good for Diaz. Weighted on base average is a little bit lower. He's a line drive hitter. The contact's just a little bit low for that batting average, but that slugging is going to be good. The OPS will be good. The defense looks okay. So he, 340 weighted on base average. Don't love the on base percentage, but we'll see who else is on the list. Number 8 is Ildemaro Vargas. I think we have an idea of who our third baseman, who we want at third base. But he might not, seeing Vargas here, he might not be here in the top 10. Where is he at? Yeah, he's way down there. We'll take a look at him in a little bit. Vargas at number 8. We talked about him a little bit at second base. Here at third base, he ranks 3rd in batting average, 9th in weighted on base average, 7th in OPS. Decent steals, a little bit of speed for him there. Defensively, he's an okay third baseman. A lot of guys here that are just kind of mediocre at third base. Very few really good defensive players, and none of them really seem to have a bat. Yeah, that Eddie Matthews is pretty solid. Oh, there's a perfect peak David Justice. Oh, I want that one. Number 7 is Yu Chang. 60 range, 66 arm, grading out 12th defensively at third base with a 53 third base rating. The avoid Ks is terrifying. 23rd out of 28 with 145 strikeouts per 600. The on-base percentage is good anyway with 83 walks. He will strike out and he will walk. He'll hit some doubles. The batting average is going to be a little bit low. Weighted on base average of 339 is good, not great, and I don't know that his defense is that avoid Ks is really scary to me for Yu Chang at number 7, 356 on base percentage. Number 6 is Vimial Machine. We saw him at second base as well. I think I like him a little bit better here at third base. Again, I kind of wish that contact was a little bit higher. I have a feeling his batting average comes down a little bit over time, but I think he plays here. 62 arm, 71 error at third base. I look at arm and error more than range at third base, even though range is important. But the good eye with the good avoid Ks, solid gap. I wish one of these was just a little bit higher, and this would be a stellar card. But as it is, I have a feeling that on base percentage comes down a little bit over time. Well, the on base percentage might stay, but I have a feeling the batting average comes down a little bit, which is going to drag that on base percentage down as you go too. So interesting, not sold on Machine. Can I tell where we at? Thanks, Dish. Where are the stats? Stats I download. Manually pull them yourself and build a table export. It takes time to I don't have it mastered. It is not mastered at all. You don't do it due to laziness. Does the timer for the next drop? Yes, I believe it only starts when you pick up a drop. Number 5 at third base, Zach Mckinstry. Another guy, 69 range, 56 arm, 55 double play, 65 error, 42 third base rating. He's listed as a third baseman. 886 plate appearances, 5th in weighted on base average for him, 4th in OPS for Zach Mckinstry. I don't see it. I do not see these numbers holding up over time for this card. The combination of eye, avoid K, contact, and relatively low power tells me this card isn't going to keep up these numbers long term. He's number 5 because of his performance over this week, but I don't see him maintaining that at all. Maybe I'm off my rocker. I do not like this Mckinstry card at all, though. Yeah, I don't blame you, JPack. It's my job now, too. Robertson at number 4. We saw him at second base. He's at number 4 here at third base, 5th in OPS, 3rd in on-base percentage with a 370. It's very walk-driven. He doesn't have a ton of speed to make up for that. But a 349 weighted on-base average, 272 batting average is pretty good for Robertson here at third base. I like him better as a third baseman than as a second baseman, I think. So we'll consider using here. Thank you. Thank you. Need a new chair. 57 range, 62 arm. Plays a little bit at third base. The 59 error is a little bit low, but I think it's okay here at Iron this year. Again, recalibrating everything. Number 3 is Franco. Third in weighted on base average, third in OPS, first in slugging, 28 home runs per 600. Defensively, he's bad. This is a bad third base defensive card. 34 third base rating with a 36 range and a 44 error. If there was a DH, I would consider using this card as a designated hitter, but I don't think I like him as a third baseman. Offensively, he looks good. 8th in average and 8th in on base percentage. There's a lot of power. He does look good offensively for a corner infield, but I just don't think that defense plays at all. So yeah, number 2 is Matt Beatty. Did we see him at first base? I think we've seen him before, but he's number 1 in average at third base, number 2 in slugging, OPS, weighted on base average, number 5 in on base percentage for him at third base. Defensively, 50 range, 51 arm, 34 double play, 58 error. Not unplayable at third base. I think I almost like him better as a first baseman or left fielder. We didn't put him at first base, did we? No, we put Taylor Jones at first base. So, skeptical of him at third base. Maybe in left field. I don't know. Almost 20 home runs per 600. Solid batting average of 289. And I think that is sustainable for him. But the on-base percentage is going to... I think the average and on-base percentage will smush a little bit. And so if that batting average comes down, that on-base percentage is going to come down a little bit too, because he's just not going to walk. Speed, steal, base running are all mediocre. Just kind of... He's one of those iron cards that's just kind of better. The sum of its parts make him better than he looks on its face, I think. And so... usable. I think he's usable. I don't know if he's what I want to use. And so you worked outside for a living. You would let's see. All the spreadsheets, and he was like, your game is more work. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's maintaining these things is a little bit of work. Now that I have them where I like them, it's not as much. Danny Mendik comes in at number 1 at third base as well. What can we say about Danny Mendik's bat right now? I think his batting average drops. I don't think he maintains a 276. I think that the on-base percentage will stay 100 points or so above his batting average. But as the batting average drops, that on-base percentage is going to come down too. So expect closer to I would expect closer to a 260, 360 kind of average on-base percentage from Mendik. But again, just relearning the stats. Defensively, I think he plays at third base. I know it's a 44 third base rating, but I think he plays. I don't think he's unplayable at third base. A little bit of speed, good bunting, solid OPS, a little bit of power. I don't think Mendik's unplayable at third base. Let's go look at Yolmer and take a look. I think Yolmer's playing below his level just a little bit right now. Solid defensively at third base. He's the best third baseman I've seen on here. Maybe the best second baseman I've seen, to be totally honest. This might be a case where I move the guy that I picked at second base back to his position at left field and move Sanchez to second base. He looks good defensively. The contact is right there above 50. If the contact was just a little bit higher, or the avoid Ks was just a little bit higher, this would be a really, really good card. As it is, you guys are seeing good numbers out of him. The numbers we're seeing here aren't as good as what some of you guys are seeing there, but he does steal, so mid-teens in stolen bases. On base percentage of 339 is pretty solid, and he's very good defensively for Yolmer Sanchez. So you know what, I'm gonna be honest. Because I want to get data on him, I'm going to try to get a Danny Mendik to drop, and I'm going to go after this card because it's interesting to me. The bunt for Sanchez. Yeah, that bump for a hit along with that speed, that is definitely playable. What do you guys think? You guys want me to go with Sanchez? I can go with Sanchez. I'm not opposed to that. What is he? 26476. 26476. We'll throw Yolmer Sanchez in there at third base. Shortstops. Is there anybody else you wanted to see? So we didn't even see Toro. So Toro came in at 15. He's the third most used. Ruiz came in at 16. He's the fourth most used. Conor Felipe at third base. which I don't think is unusable at third base. Really curious to see him at shortstop, grading out 7th defensively at third base for Conor Felipe right now. You like Yolmer at second. Sanchez is bonkers for an iron. I almost like Yolmer at second too. I'll be honest. That 75 range is going to play up at second. And then, so who did we go with at second base? Because we went with Lowe Garcia at second base. I think we're going to, for now, I like Sanchez better at second. And then, actually, before we do that, let's go put him in left. We liked Lowe in left. Move Sanchez to second. And then I'm going to try Mendik out at third. He's a 2.6313. Just to see what happens. Shortstop. I put him at shortstop. We don't want him at third. 2.6313. There we go. We'll delete our shortstop for now. All right. Let's move on to the shortstop, shall we? Some of the 40 rated. What? For what? This isn't a cap tourney, Luke. Shortstops. Let's see what we got here. Gotta go. Can you get all this if you write in? What do you? I don't know what you mean. For get all this. You can watch it on the video. They'll post the video on demand for tomorrow. Do part drops carry over to the next stream you watch? Yes. No, they don't. Mulholland says they don't. So unsure. If you message me on Discord, you will be able to see the lists, but not the stats over on Discord. Thairo Estrada comes out at number 10 at shortstop. 10th in weighted on base average, defensively, 70 range, 62 error, 61 arm. We're looking at for Estrada. 11th in average, on base percentage below 300. I don't like it. He's fourth. He's a live card, so he's getting used fourth most, but I am not a fan of Estrada. Second base, third base, left field, right field, maybe a utility guy, but I don't like that on base percentage out of a utility guy. Pinch running, he's not elite, so I wouldn't use him as a pinch runner either. The combination of I and avoid K, 26 I with 47 avoid K, and a 46 contact rating, that's bad. 22 qualifying shortstops. Number 9 is Chuck Wortman. He has a 44 shortstop rating. Grades out 14th among shortstop. When you got 12 drops for watching this, yeah, sorry, Bailey. That might be my fault. Might be entirely my fault. Chuck Wortman comes in at number 9, dropping 28th in average, 21st in on base percentage, 14th in weighted on base average, but 25 steals per 600. Are the steals worth it? With a 295 on base percentage and mediocre at best defense, I don't think so. So not a fan of Workman. He does hit home runs, which is something none of the other shortstops do, but he only plays shortstop and he's not great at it. I'm not in love with his card at number 9. Number 8, there's Nikki Lopez again, 74 range, 78 errors, 64 shortstop. He rates offensively at number 8. Nikki Lopez might be interesting at shortstop, depending on who else we see and who we see better defensively. A little bit of offense. Number 1 in on-base percentage among shortstops is pretty good. Again, I wish the contact was like 4 points higher, but I think he's playable at shortstop based off of what I'm seeing. He's obviously going to be better defensively at second base, but I think there are guys that are comparable defensively at second base that kind of do better offensively than him. But I'm interested to see who the best defensive shortstops are here in Iron. Number 7 is Bob Baylor, 69 range, 52 shortstop rating. Very good at void Ks. We saw him over at second base. I don't think we saw him at third base. 336 on base percentage, 273 batting average. You think drop progress for the same day transfers? If you're halfway to a pack, yeah, then tonight's stream you should be able to get. But it won't carry over tomorrow. Yeah, I think you're probably right. You're trying out Kyner Felipe at short. Let's see where he falls on the list. 11th in weighted on base average for Baylor. 17th in slugging. 4th. It's a very average on base percentage driven weighted on base average, which I don't hate since he can run. Defensively, I think Nikki Lopez is obviously slightly better than him right now defensively. So Kyner Felipe at number 6, 63, 73 range, 77 arm. I like that arm. 68 turn double play, 74 error. And he's 5th in weighted on base average. Fourth in average, 330 on base percentage has him fifth. I'm leaning Conor Felipe right now. I'm leaning Conor Felipe right now. 330 on base percentage is okay. It's not a great on base percentage, but the average is good. And the defense looks okay too. So there we go. Let's see who else we got. Jorge Mateo comes in at number 5. All he does is hit doubles. 6th in weighted on base average, 9th in batting average, 18th in on base percentage at 304. A little bit of home run power, 13. A little bit of steals, 20 steals per 600 puts him top 5 among our 22 qualifying shortstops. So he does something really well, but he doesn't get on base enough to really make it. I mean, if he was a 320, 330 on base percentage guy, he'd be up at 25, 30 steals per 600. So 74 range, 75 arm, 64. It looks okay defensively. I still think I'm leaning Conor Felipe at short. He's gotta be. Number 4 is Eric Gonzalez. Here's a good looking defensive shortstop at iron. 75 range, 66 arm, 72 turn double play, 75 infield error. His zone rating looks bad, but that's a small sample size, and the right field and left field are probably leaking into that a little bit. Interesting looking defensive utility player if you don't really need offense. Offensively, he's played well, but there's no way this holds up. I can't imagine this card holding up a 277 batting average long term. I need to get batting average on balls in play in here. Somehow. That might be what takes over down here is batting average on balls in play. I can't imagine this card keeping up a 277 batting average with a 31 avoid Ks and a 44 contact and just a 21 I. Those are some outrageous offensive numbers for this card right now. Defensively, he looks good at shortstop, so maybe we give him a try just as a defensive player, but I don't know that he keeps up those offensive numbers. He's probably going to be a black hole for me as soon as I plug him in. Anderson Tejada comes in at number 3. Don't love the error at shortstop. Defensively, he looks a little bit scary. I know the range and the arm look good, but a 49 error at shortstop is really scary to me. Nobody, Mateo, is that good? Yeah, I agree on Mateo too. There's some weird numbers in here but on these small sample sizes. Although offensively, he's getting a pretty heavy slugging driven weighted on base average is what you're getting from Mateo here is the issue. The average and on base percentage look like about what I would expect them to be. Maybe the on base percentage goes down a little bit, but the slugging and OPS look about right to me, and weighted on base average looks like he could sustain that. That's not a super egregiously high weighted on base average. There's just not a lot of offense among guys who can play shortstop. This is the one that's throwing me for a loop. Those look way high for Eric Gonzalez to me. But he's a good-looking defensive shortstop with some gap power. I don't know. Maybe I try him out. Tejada, the error is scary. Again, the error is scary at shortstop. I don't know that he keeps up that weight. Well, you know, his makes more sense. The 257 average with a 315 on-base percentage. It's a really doubles and home runs driven weighted on base average with a little bit of an ability to steal. I don't love him as an everyday shortstop. The error is terrifying to me at shortstop. Even if the range and arm look okay. Tejada, this is an interesting card. Tejada. I should be saying Tejada. Anderson Tejada. Not Tejada. Different name. You pulled a Taylor Jones from your drops. He's going on your iron team after. Nice. Number 2 is Elvis Andrews. Plays shortstop, plays okay at shortstop. The 83 error is solid. I like it. We saw him a little bit. Somebody's playing him at second base, so he got a little bit of play at second base. Maybe a lot more than I expected at second base because he's showing 1,000 almost plate appearances somewhere else. Offensively, a 324 weighted on base average. Maybe. Especially if he's getting platooned against lefties. I could see him putting up numbers like that. He's a pretty solid looking offensive card against left-handed pitching if you can platoon him. With okay defense at shortstop, it's having to recalibrate myself and go, yeah, a 61 range, 72 arm, 83 error is kind of okay at shortstop is killing me right now. Andrews, I don't think Andrews looks terrible against left-handed pitching. not unplayable against right-handed pitching. Interesting. Maybe Andrews. I might be leaning Andrews now over Conor Felipe. Or maybe we do a platoon. What's Conor Felipe look like? Nah, he splits towards lefties too, so. Number 1 is Elias Diaz. We saw him at third base. He's not very good defensively. Offensively, I'm not surprised to see him here above all these other shortstops. I wouldn't play him at shortstop. The shortstop rating's a little bit low. The error combined with the range and arm are all just a little bit too low for me to play him as my everyday shortstop. He's interesting looking as a third baseman to me. I want more of a sample. Well, that's a pretty big sample size on him overall. Looks like a lot of people are playing him at third base. I don't think he looks terrible at third base, but I wouldn't play him at shortstop. Let's go back and see if we see anybody better defensively. Where's Santiago Espinal? We didn't see him. There he is. 78 range, grading out 5th defensively. 78 range, 63 arm, 74 error. He's probably the best defensive shortstop I've seen on the list. But he's not like far and away the best defensive shortstop, and his offense is pretty bad. I think Conor Felipe might be where I want to go. It's been crazy. The new stuff seems crazy to me. I think I like. I think it's between. To me, I think I've narrowed it down to Conor Felipe and Andrews, but I also kind of want to give Eric Gonzalez a try just to see if I can get his numbers to look like they should look. Because he looks like a pretty good defensive shortstop. I just can't imagine these numbers holding up with those ratings. I can't imagine them staying long term. I don't like Tejeda that much. I think I'm going to plug 73 range, 63 shortstop, 74 error. 61 range, 83 error, 50 short. I think I'm going to plug Conor Felipe in for now at shortstop. We got a 26072. 26072. I'm going to plug him in at shortstop. Lori Garcia, I think, was a center fielder, not a left fielder. So we're going to plug him in there for now, but we're going to see what he looks like when we get to the center fielders. So that's who I'm plugging in. Is it more relatable to real life now? Evaluating defense specifically at lower formats has really been a shift. Happy that contact is no longer mandatory to be a top bat too. Yeah, I agree. I am really, really happy that power is a real thing now, especially now that it's creeping into the lower levels a little bit. So it's definitely going to be a recalibration. So even today, like I said, I go through these numbers just to make sure there's not like big blaring errors and stuff, but I don't usually look too closely at it till I come on to stream. And so it's definitely been a change. It's definitely I like what I'm seeing so far from the new stuff that we're seeing. We had 23 qualifying left fielders. Raimel Tapia comes in at number 10. No power, 20th in home runs, 11 home runs per 600, but number 2 in batting average at 286. 13th in weighted on base average, 5th in steals for Raimel Tapia in left field. 58 range, 61 arm, 57 error with a 68 left field rating. And looks good against right-handed pitching. Not gonna lie, I know the power is super low against righties, but the avoid Ks plus contact and gap, you're gonna get a lot of singles and doubles, a good average. The on-base percentage will continue to be okay. I have a feeling the on-base percentage comes down a little bit closer to the average. You're probably looking, because you're looking at 60 points right now, you're probably looking at closer to a 335 on-base percentage, which isn't terrible either. Yeah, it needed to happen. Yeah, agreed, Slinky. There were some really weird results. Yeah, I went with Conor Felipe at short. Bronze went from noodle bats. I'm seeing some crazy numbers in bronze, for sure. Tapia at number 10. Number 9, we got Billy Mckinney, 59 range, 67 left field rating. I think that I tend to lean Billy Mckinney as a left field, right field backup. 68 left field rating. Maybe as a left fielder. I don't know. Definitely some power here. 24 home runs per 600 plate appearances, 7th in weighted on base average. Drops a little bit because some of the other guys are going to have some speed as well. And he just doesn't. He has a little bit. He's a good base runner, but not a really good base runner. But he does hit 24 home runs per 600. But that's still 10th among left fielders, among people playing left field. So he comes in at number 9. Number 8 is Philip Irwin, who's number 2 in on-base percentage among left fielders right now. Decent eye, good gap. The avoid Ks and contact is going to be a lower batting average, but you're going to get some doubles out of him. Just under 20 home runs is what we're seeing. 64 range with a 74 rating. Irwin looks like an interesting option. There's really not a huge split here. You got 6 points of gap, but everything else is within, and 5 points of power, or contact, sorry. Everything else is kind of within 2 points of each other on Philip Irwin. So he looks like an interesting option as a utility outfielder to me, but I don't know that bat's quite good enough to start every day at left field. Number 7 is Steven Duggar, 75 range, doesn't have a left field rating, but got enough to qualify in left field, I guess. 51 contact, 74 gap, 31 avoid Ks, 48 eyes. I don't see him maintaining a 281 batting average or a 346 weighted on base average. Decent speed. He's a line drive hitter. I don't know. Maybe gap is going to be the important thing this season. I'm seeing some pretty gap driven weighted on base averages here. Slugging OPS at number 7 among left fielders. Doesn't play left field defensively. So I don't know what's going on there. There's a lot of guys who they're going to get filtered out as we get more of a sample size. Number 6 is Bradley Zimmer. 22 home runs per 600 plate appearances. Number 2 in steals, so he's giving you power and he's giving you steals. Unfortunately, the weighted on base average overall is pretty low at 342. That avoid Ks is atrocious. 164 strikeouts. He's going to strike out more than once every 4 plate appearances. The power he's definitely a little bit better against righties. He'll walk a little bit against righties, give you a 346 on base percentage. Only 707 plate appearances as a left fielder. It looks like, another guy that maybe utility, but I don't know that it holds up. I don't know that bat quite holds up. Maybe the eye gap power is going to help. We'll keep an eye on him going forward, but it's very steal driven is where his ranking is here. It's he's 12th in weighted on base average, but gets a bonus from being the number 2 base stealer among left fielders. Number 5 is Kyle Lewis. Guys, this card rakes. This card is awesome from what I've seen. Even though the average is a little bit low, 267 batting average puts him 10th. A 363 on base percentage, number 5 in weighted on base average, and pretty good defense. I like him. Not so much in left field. I'd like him a little bit better in right field, maybe even in center field. We're going to see some guys that you're going to be able to mix and match with here. Maybe even as a utility outfielder. I know the 44 rating in right field is low and the 37 in left field, but the Kyle Lewis card from what I've seen early on is spectacular. Even with a low avoid Ks. Even with this avoid Ks at 24, 28, this card has been really, really good for me from what I've seen. I like Kyle Lewis. Number 4, Kristen Stewart comes in at number 4. Here's some power. 32 home runs per 600 plate appearances. 4th in on base percentage for him. 5th in slugging. 3rd in OPS. Defensively, I mean, I guess you can live with it in left field if you want 30 home runs per plate appearance. It's only 729 plate appearances right now. Lewis is hurt too. In real life, so we'll see what he does. It pains you to leave Kyle Lewis off the roster, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, if you got a roster working for you, don't change it too much, because I don't know what I'm doing. I think that's pretty clear. Kristen Stewart comes in at number 4. Can you live with this defense for 32 home runs? There might be some offenses out there that need that home run injection that can do that, and so I don't know if he works in my lineup right now. We'll see if we can't figure that out. Justin Upton, the 3rd most used, comes in at number 3. Almost 40 home runs per 600 plate appearances. Almost 170 strikeouts per 600 plate appearances. Walks are number 1. On base percentage at 353. A batting average of 248 is below league average for Justin Upton, but 479 slugging, 833 OPS, 366 weighted on base average. To me, it looks similar, just a little bit more powerful than that Kristen Stewart card, right? Losing a little bit more defense. So again, you're going to have to decide what you want, defense or home runs. And he is a platoonable card. I think if you can get him in there in a platoon just against lefties, then this card is probably going to hit really, really well for you. I think he is definitely beatable versus righties, though. I think that he will struggle against right-handed pitching. He comes in at number 3. Must be rated like a Chris Coughlin. The fact that he's an iron makes you laugh. Yeah, I agree. It's Rookie of the Year, right? It's already been brought up on the Discord. Number 2 is Willie Calhoun. This is an interesting looking card. 30 home runs per 600. Number 1 in weighted on base average among left fielders. Another guy that isn't great defensively in left field. Only plays left field. Solid contact, gap power, avoid Ks versus righties. You know, I think you can do worse though. In left field, defense is, you know, it is what it is in left field. I feel like you could do worse than a Justin Upton, Willie Calhoun platoon in left field based off of the things I'm seeing. You made cookies. You're the best. Those look awesome. Thank you. There's sprinkles everywhere. This will bring the ants.
It's for decorative purpose.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, YouTube.
Your mom's gonna kill me for letting you put your voice on screen.
You should donate to him.
Yeah, that's not what this stream is for. I did not plan that. I apologize. Len Konecki comes in at number 1. 46 range, 51 arm, 316 plate appearances. No way this card keeps up a 290 batting average, guys. I just can't see it. 121 strikeouts, only 51 walks. I don't like this card. I don't like this card. Yeah, coworkers. I haven't seen him in the games. He can't, I'll be honest. It's a wicked reverse split. You're seeing it's a reverse split against lefties. 52 gap, 66 power, 53 eye is not unplayable versus left-handed pitching with that reverse split. That's an interesting looking card versus lefties. Maybe you can do worse than a Willie Calhoun, Len Konecki platoon versus lefties and righties. Interesting reverse splits on Konecki. Second in weighted on base average. The steals, a 60 steal rating. Man, he must be really bad at steals. Yeah. I think the stolen bases probably come down over time as well. I don't think he maintains 6 net steals per 600 plate appearances, so I'm not sold on it. It is a 48 rated card. Maybe an interesting cap tournament card when the cap tournaments start. I can't believe... I'm surprised to see him at number 1. Those are inflated numbers. I think they come down. I definitely don't think he's unusable versus left-handed pitching. Not necessarily unusable versus righties, but he's not going to be nearly as good as he would be versus lefties. So I don't think he stays number 1, but for a small sample size, he's there at number 1. I don't think I'm going to try him out. I got to have Kyle Lewis in there somewhere. I think Kyle Lewis is going to be our center fielder. I think Kyle Lewis is our center fielder. I think that I'm going to throw Calhoun in there. I'm going to try Calhoun as our left fielder for the day. Let's check some of the other guys out because we didn't see Sam Hilliard. Kyle Garlick comes in at number 11. A little bit of power there. Number 1, 40 home runs per 600 plate appearances over 500 plate appearance sample size. Interesting looking power gap. The eye avoid K combination is a little bit scary. Better defensively than some of the other guys we've seen on the list. Let's see. Tyler O'Neill hitting some bombs, 31 home runs per 600. This is a card that could play in left field. Definitely some offense here with a little bit of defense to go with it. I don't hate this Tyler O'Neill card. I don't hate the Tyler. Yeah, Garcia. Well, I moved Garcia to center field because he doesn't play. He didn't get any play in left field. So right now he's listed in center field. He was not in the top 10 here. Garlic, O'Neal. There's Daniel Johnson with a 339 weighted on base average at number 13. There's Sam Hilliard. Hilliard looks like he's probably the utility outfielder we're going to want. 75 left field rating, 67 right field rating, a 63 range with a 38 center field rating. Is not great in center field, but every 4 or 5 days, maybe you can live with it. 63 power, 71 power versus righties. I could see Sam Hilliard being a solid utility guy. Garcia, you think Garcia plays better as a left fielder? Let me take a look at him. I haven't seen him on this list. We'll see what he looks like in center field. Because I am going to pencil, right off the bat, I'm going to pencil Kyle Lewis in center field. So I didn't see what his number was. We got 26103 for Kyle Lewis in center field. Left field for now, I'm going to pencil in Calhoun in left field, and then Upton as well. They're just going to get penciled in. So Calhoun at a 26078. 26078. And then we've got left field. Oh, I didn't pick a utility infielder. Because we don't have a DH. So, look, it matches. How cool is that? Because we can fit another line down here. So let's go left field here, and we're going to call this one 26168. We're going to try to fit a platoon in here. 26168, 26168. We've got to change this to left field. I'm going to have to bring up, we'll fix that here in a little bit. And so on to center fielders. You think you're going to try out Upton, Calhoun in left, Garcia in center, Lewis in right. Interesting. We're going to see somebody in right field who I really like in right field. There's a guy I know is on the list. There's Leury Garcia. Does have a little bit better left field ratings and is number 10 here in center field. So 332 weighted on base average. Where would that be among left fielders? Wouldn't even crack the top 10. Would be pretty far down. So offensively, he doesn't quite stack up with some of the other left fielders. And with offense being a thing, you know, if this was perfect team 21, I would be all over this Leury Garcia card in left field. But I think I want to get a little bit more offense out of my left fielder than Garcia is going to give me. So I think for now, we're going to pass on Garcia. Maybe a utility player. Perhaps. He might play everywhere for us as we try to fit a platoon. Because the one thing that is nice is that by having a guy who can slot in everywhere, now we can platoon those other positions, right? Even though his right field and third base isn't great. And with no DH, we can get a little bit of a platoon going on in there too. So we'll see. We'll see what we do with Leury Garcia. Number 9 is Jake Fraley. Fraley looks like an interesting utility outfield option as well. 8th and weighted on base average among center fielders. A little bit of base running. Good range. A little bit of power. Good gap. 40 I, 35 avoid K. 38-33 against lefties. It's a little bit concerning. Not really any splits. 12 points of power split versus righties. Everything else is within a couple points. But he's dropping 18 home runs, 439 slugging, and 7 net steals. I think the net steals might come up a little bit more over time as people use him a little bit more. I just got a message, so I'm going to check that real quick as we move on to number 8. Guillermo Heredia comes in at number 8. 75 range in center field with a 59 center field rating. He actually looks like a better option as a utility outfielder to me than the last guy that we just saw. And so looks decent defensively as a center fielder. Mckinney was sneaky in. Yeah, Mckinney was sneaky in 21. You've been liking Mckinney in left field. I didn't even see him on the left field list. Yeah, he didn't show up on that left field list. We'll see if he shows up anywhere else. I know we saw him at somewhere else. Was it first base, second base? Heredia looks interesting to me. Almost 20 home runs per 600. 5th and weighted on base average. Not a ton of speed for a center fielder, but his range looks okay. with a 75 range. And 75 range, 55 arm, 65 error. Plays left field, center field, right field. Might be leaning Heredia as a utility outfielder right now. Cedric Mullins comes in at number 7, 68 gap, 54 avoid Ks versus righties. Drops a little bit versus lefties. We're seeing 333 weighted on base average from him. Pretty good base stealer. 20 steals per 600 plate appearances has him 8th. 5th in batting average among center fielders. 77 range, 45 arm, 68 error. He's okay. Not sold on him at the moment. Daniel Johnson comes in at number 6. 22nd defensively. The range is a little bit low. Looks like he'd be better suited as a right fielder to me. He's got a 70 right field rating. I think we're going to see a little bit more offense over there, though. He's got a 339 weighted on base average, 5th in slugging among center fielders with a 431, 18 home runs per 600, and 270 batting average for Daniel Johnson, which looks like it's probably going to be about right. I'm loving the offensive numbers this year. It's pretty stellar so far. Steven Duggar comes in at number 5. We saw him in left field as well back when he didn't, a position he doesn't really play. I'm still not sold on him here either. I don't think the stealing is elite. I think the eye and avoid Ks hurt him a lot. I don't think he maintains the numbers he's maintaining. 450 slugging is just ridiculous for him at this point, and a 281 batting average is really high too. Although it's a doubles driven slugging percentage, so I don't think he maintains this long term. I just don't. The 75 range in center field with the 49 arm and the 58, I think that we have better combinations of offense and defense in center field than what we're going to get out of Steven Duggar. Number 4 is Bradley Zimmer. 69 range. I like him better in right field. 62 arm, 62 error, 44 right field rating. Again, could be a utility outfielder, I guess. The speed / pinch runner, 81 speed, 91 steals. He's 4th among center fielders in stolen bases with almost 30. Does have a little bit of power, so it's an interesting power speed combination. The on-base percentage of 346 is useful as well with the ability to steal and the ability to hit home runs. It's not a bad bat. If there were DHs, I wouldn't be opposed to this bat being a DH, but we'll see what he does long term too. I don't know that comes down, but avoid K appears to be not as important as it was last year. Number 3 is Kyle Lewis. Here he is. This guy's our center fielder. Number 1 in on-base percentage among center fielders. Doesn't steal as much as the other center fielders, but plays really good defense. 81 range, 69 arm, 71 error in center field. A little bit of power. Number 2 in power. The on-base percentage is great. I love this Kyle Lewis card. This is fantastic. McKinney was 7th or 8th, 9th, and at left field. Oh yeah, there he is. Look at that. And I think Kyle Lewis is the guy I'm going with. Number 2 and number 1, let's see who they are. Number 2 is Lodi Taveras. 81 range, 59 arm, grading out 8th defensively. I think he looks pretty good defensively. Offensively, he's dropping the number 3 weighted on base average over 724 plate appearances. Lower avoid K with lower contact. He's going to be a very doubles and walk dependent on base percentage / OPS. So he will walk a little bit, plays decent defense in center field. I don't think he's unusable. I like Kyle Lewis better though for my center fielder. He comes in at number 2 though. Taveras has been the best in your sample too, huh? Not getting played too much. Let's see. Well, let's look into it a little bit then. So the range of 81 is comparable to Lewis. It's the same, 69. Lewis has a little bit better arm and a little bit better error. Taveras' defense is a little bit better. Offensively, Lewis is going to give you a little bit more power, obviously, with the 61 power, but you get a ton of avoid Ks. It's almost 30 points of avoid Ks for Taveras, and you lose 20 points of power. So you're offsetting the avoid Ks with the power. On the top, contact and gap, you're looking at 59, 52, 53, 50, 56, 62. Yeah, you're seeing pretty solid contact. This is going to be a guy with a good batting average, a good on-base percentage. I might now be leaning Lodi Taveras. You know, you're going to lose a little bit of home runs. This is a dynamic card for a 51 rated card, though. 362 on base percentage. I don't know that the on base percentage stays that high. Interesting. I think I'm going to stick Kyle Lewis for now. But Taveras looks really interesting to me, too. Your center fielder isn't even on the list. Well, we'll see who's number one. And Kyle Lewis just hit a grand slam in game one of your Iron Tourney. Congratulations. Number one is Kevin Pillar. What? Are you serious? This guy's going to have a batting average, guys, in Iron. A 69 avoid Ks with a 55-plus contact with gap power of 79 with some home run power. He's not going to walk. His on-base percentage is going to be bad. And his defense isn't good. I like this card in right field. This is an interesting-looking right field card to me. The arm is not great. But number 5 in home runs, number 1 in slugging, OPS, weighted on base average for Pillar, 1,500 plate appearance sample size. I have to recalibrate everything I think about these cards. He's definitely more of a right fielder, even though the arm at 48. I don't think he plays defensively in center field. I still do want good defense in center field, which is why I'm sticking with Lewis. Torn a little bit between Lewis and Taveras, but Pillar looks like an interesting right fielder. Let's see. Who are we looking for? Tom Oliver? Let's see if we can find him. Buster Adams at 11. Hazley at 12. Looks like an interesting left fielder. Jared Dyson getting some play. Good-looking defensive center fielder, Jared Dyson. But the top half of this is just not good. The I and avoid Ks, it looks okay. The on-base percentage is going to be okay. And really good base stealer. Good defense. You know, if you're looking for that defensive player who's going to give you a kind of mediocre on-base percentage and run when he's on the bases, I think there's worse cards out there than Jared Dyson in center field. I think that is definitely not an unplayable card out there. NCRT at 14, Roman Quinn at 15, Alfred at 16, Jared Elite. Yeah, I'm not seeing him on the list at all. We got 23 qualifiers. All of these guys are live. There's Tom Oliver, number 21. Let's check him out. Number 2 in zone rating, though. Solid defensive center fielder. That contact being low, if that contact was a 52 to a 55, this would be a pretty interesting card. The lack of power hurts. The lack of speed to go along with what is otherwise an intriguing batting average hurts Tom Oliver just a little bit too. Very good defensive center fielder, it looks like. And so if you have really good offense everywhere else in your lineup and you need really good defense in center field, or you're running a whole lot of fly ball pitchers, then Tom Oliver could be an option in center field. Yeah. And again, all of these numbers are rated by offense right now. I don't use defense in the thing. I'm working on getting it back in the fold. But again, I really think it's going to end up being a ratings thing. And so it's going to take a little bit of work for me to figure out exactly how I want to manage that. Right field, Billy McKinney comes in at number 10. I do like it. Some power, pretty good weighted on base average, some okay defense for a right fielder. A 56 arm is okay. Grades out okay defensively in right field right now too. Slugging, he's 6th. Home runs, he's 8th. I think he holds that up long term. I think he's a pretty solid offensive option among outfielders here in Iron. Number 9 is Miles Straw, which is he's an interesting card to me. Lots of steals for Miles Straw, 52 stolen bases. 3rd in on-base percentage for Miles Straw at 372. 5th in batting average at 276. The weighted on-base average is just a 327. You're going to get singles. You're going to get some walks. He's 4th in walks, and he's going to be a base stealer for you. Interesting card to me. Decent enough right fielder. Can play a little bit of shortstop, a little bit of left field, a little bit of second base. Can play anywhere you want. Really interesting. I think he's an interesting utility outfield option. Maybe a borderline utility player at shortstop. I don't know that that's something I would do. Thanks, Kat, for knocking everything off the desk. Interesting utility option. You would pay for this list? I don't know that that's something I want to do. The spreadsheets are such a mess, guys. It looks good here, but there's such a mess. Bradley Zimmer at number 8. Let's see. What do we think about him? 44 right field rating. Grades out 3rd defensively. I disagree. I don't think that's true. 69 range, 62 error. A little bit of power. Weighted on base average is 10th, and again, the steals bump him up to number 8. He's a guy with a, but I'm not sold on Bradley Zimmer. I like, just looking at them, I like Straw a little bit better, just because of his ability to get on base and the fact that so Zimmer's got the speed, right? But the avoid Ks with the contact is going to keep his on-base percentage pretty low. His batting average and on-base percentage are both going to stay pretty low. I like Straw a little bit better. The I is going to help his walk, so that's going to help his on-base percentage. And the avoid K plus contact combination are going to give him a decent batting average as well. So I like Straw a little bit better than Zimmer. Also, defensively, Straw looks better. So number 7 is Kyle Lewis. We have him at center field. He shows up here in right field too. This card is just awesome. I love this card. Number 6 is Monty Harrison. This is my guy. This is my card. I don't know what it is about this card, but I love it right now. I know the offensive numbers don't look great. 335 weighted on base average, but he's probably the best defensive right fielder. An 83 arm with a 72 range. I'm probably moving off of him after doing this list. I've had him on my team for a little bit. 23 home runs per 600 puts him just inside the top 10, but the steals to go along with it. But the weighted on base average, the on base percentage are definitely factors that drag him down just a little bit. It's such a fun looking card though. It should be, I want it to be awesome. It's just not going to be. The avoid K's contact combination is just going to hurt it too much, I think, based off of what I'm seeing. But a little bit of power, pretty awesome speed, and pretty good right field defense as well. It's available as free for gifted donations. Yeah, so Monty Harrison comes in at number 6. I wanted him to be higher. Number 5 is Justin Williams. This is a card we saw earlier in left field, and I think we saw him at first base too for some reason. 360 weighted on base average puts him number 2 among right fielders. 25 home runs, decent enough defense, a 62 arm in right field. Again, right field and left field are places where we pay attention to defense, but we're willing to say, we can live with that, right? And so I think that Justin Williams, solidly in the top 5, solidly in the top 10. He's going to give you some power that some of the other guys don't. A good batting average as well. The contact with a borderline but workable avoid Ks is going to be okay. And then the OPS is pretty solid at number 4. Justin Williams comes in at number 5. Number 4 is Aristides Aquino. Here's your home run hitter in right field. 37 home runs per 600 plate appearances. Number 1 in slugging percentage, but number 5 in weighted on base average because, I mean, that's all he's going to do is hit home runs. He's going to hit a lot of them, but he's going to be getting out the rest of the time. A 251 batting average is right at league average, and the 329 on base percentage is right at league average as well. Which when pitchers are not being factored in there anymore, those numbers are going to go up even a little bit more, I think. So I think you can safely say that the 251 average and on base percentage are well below league average for Aristides Aquino. And so combine that with the fact that it's mediocre defense in right field. And again, if you want that home runs, if you just need one guy in your lineup that's going to hit home runs, then maybe Aquino's that guy. Number 3 is Dexter Fowler. Another guy, similar looking kind of profile, but everything's kind of more flat for Fowler than Aquino. You can see the very low avoid Ks, and then you lose a little bit of the power too, obviously. Number 2 in on-base percentage among right fielders for Fowler, though. Good range, good error. The arm is a little bit low for a right fielder. Not sold on him. 573 plate appearance sample size. I imagine his weighted on base average comes down a little bit. It's a very walk-driven on base percentage, which he's not an elite base runner. So while he can steal some bases for you, I think the walks take away from that. The fact that it's such a walk-heavy on base percentage, and 140 points between your average and your on base percentage is pretty unsustainable, I think. Something's going to have to give there. Either his average has to come up to maintain that 382 on-base percentage, or that on-base percentage is going to go way down for Dexter Fowler, too. Number 2 is Kevin Pillar. I like him as a right fielder, guys. 360 weighted on-base average. The on-base percentage is a little bit low because of those walks, but the batting average makes up for that a little bit. The slugging percentage, and the reason I say that is because while you'll see guys like the Dexter Fowler, who's a 382 on-base percentage, a lot of that is such empty on-base percentage because it's walks and it's He's not stealing bases to be dynamic on the bases by himself. Pilar, his on-base percentage is lower, but it's less empty because his on-base percentage is going to be driven by singles and doubles, and he can run around the bases as well. So I really think Pilar is a very good-looking right fielder for this format right now. At number 2, and your number 1 right fielder, Yadiel Hernandez. 25 home runs, number 1 in weighted on-base average over the course of just about 800 plate appearances, number 1 in on-base percentage, number 3 in batting average, number 3 in slugging, and number 1 in OPS for Yadiel Hernandez. Do we think that holds up? I'm not sold against it. I think that the batting average probably drops a little bit. But his gap and his power versus right-handed pitching looks pretty good to me. The eye looks okay. Everything kind of across the board looks pretty good. There's nothing that's really bad against right-handed pitching. And left-handed versus lefties, obviously, you're probably going to want to try to platoon him if you can. But he comes in at number 1. I'm not sold on him staying number 1, but I think he's got staying power in the top 10. I think this is a bat that can hit for sure. You could put him in left field. Where did we see him on the left field list? A 382 weighted on base average would have put him right at the top of the left field list too. So I could see Yadiel Hernandez in left field for sure. Again, I don't know that those numbers stay up that high, but I think I'm going to try him out in left field. I think I'm going to change him to my left fielder because I was never really sold on Willie Calhoun anyway. So let's go Yadiel in left. It's 25882. We're going to get an NA here for him over here just because we don't have left field stats on him. For right field, I'm going to go Pilar. I think I'm going to go with Pilar in right field. He's a 25931. 25931. And then we'll deal with utility stuff as it comes. This isn't stuff that I necessarily want to do on screen. I'm going to get to the pictures. What are we at? So this list is unique. What do you mean by this list is unique, Mr. Peach? Is that what that means? Your name's obviously German. Does your name mean Mr. Peach? Because I don't speak German, so I'm legitimately curious. That's a real question. Is there a way to use these IDs effectively? The card IDs? That's what I use for everything. It's so in game, let's see, we can download now and probably get knocked out of the tournament. Lost the file. I got to restart, and we'll log out and log back in. So sorry for the keyboard stuff. I use it for sorting everything. So you're talking about the card IDs, right? Gaming Giant. And so I use it for sorting, and then I use it for, so in game there's not really a way to use them effectively because you can't look it up. Like you can't look up the card ID by player. You can't use it to look stuff up here at all. I don't know if you can look it up in the search. Let's find out if you can look it up in the search. So Pilar's a 25931. I really doubt it. So yeah, in the game, there's not really a way to use the card ID effectively because you can just search for players and whatnot. But using it here, it's what I use to sort everything because there's two things in the game that are unique identifier for the players. It's the card ID and the full title of the card. So your MLB 2021 Live center field, Kevin Pilar, New York Mets 2021. I would much rather type 5 numbers in when I'm searching for something on my screen than type this whole thing in to try to find it. And so that's what Gaming Ian, that makes sense. I got it now. Let's see. In your tournament roster builder, you use card ID. Yeah, and that's a spreadsheet too, right? Enigma. And so that's where that's what I use the IDs for versus the names. Those are the only two unique identifiers because I can like go over to all my data, right, and type in Pilar or filter by Pilar and it'll just be all the Polars. But if there's like a historical Polar plus a regular one, so that's what I use the ID for. Or if there's like for instance, Babe Ruth had like 8 cards in the last game. So you type Ruth and you're getting all the Babe Ruth cards, whereas the identifier is what sorts them based off of the actual card. You can import rosters with card ID basically. To this potentially, yeah. Potentially there are definitely, there's probably ways to use the card ID that I don't use it, and there's probably like way more advanced ways to figure out what to do with it too. So I am not, I don't know that I'd call myself an expert at this stuff. I just have a lot of fun and spend a lot of time doing Google to figure out how to make stuff work. So let's do pitchers, shall we? What is card ID? So card ID is a unique identifier for the card. So let me get into the tournament again. We're up to 3 packs, guys, on this team. We got like, that's at least 8 total packs that we'll get to open at the end. Maybe we'll get something good. So in here, when we go to, we're just going to go to my roster. So when you go to the view, so you can adjust what you see here on the view and what you download. So I guess I should just talk about, let's just go to the stats and the sortable stats and talk about downloading data real quick, since it's been asked. And I know people are probably going to start getting bored pretty soon and not want to hang out for the rest of it. And so I know I promised that I would talk about this before the end. So this is where I download my data from. You can see I do it in a one-shot sheet. I know that, I don't know, Enigma is a guy who downloads a lot of stuff, and so I don't know if he does it separately via batters and pitchers. I think that DRC Nomads, for instance, downloads 2 separate sheets in batters and pitchers, but I'm downloading 40, 50, 60 tournaments a day, so cutting that in half by doing one sheet makes it work for me. And so what the card ID is so when I build this, I go in here and I customize and I select everything I need. And it's got to be, you're going to have to, if you're going to do a huge spreadsheet like the way I do, you got to figure them out in order. But the card ID is here under miscellaneous information, the perfect team card ID. There's going to be 2 card IDs, or 2 IDs. There's an ID here, which is a player ID, and there's a card ID here. The perfect team card ID is the one that you need because that is the unique card identifier for perfect team, and that's how. So when I go back to the spreadsheet, so I build this spreadsheet. I set it to be 1 plate appearance, 1 inning pitch, 1 inning played. Some people set 1 run in there as well for like to catch the pinch runners. I don't quite get that much in the weeds on it. It might be something that I need to start adding. I haven't decided yet. And then you just go here and you go write report to disk, and it pops it up in your browser of choice. My browser of choice is not actually Internet Explorer. I use Opera for my browser of choice, but I have Internet Explorer set to my default because of this. And because I can go in here and there's 2 ways that you can export this. You can hit Control A and copy, and then copy it over into Excel. Whether it's my processor, my Excel, Internet Explorer, I'm not sure why. Anything bigger than like a 32 team tournament, I have to actually right click and then export to Excel. And that's why this doesn't, Chrome, Opera doesn't have this button here, and then I can just open it. It just automatically sends it to Excel, which pops it up, and it looks something like this. And that's my raw data. I take my raw data and I close that. I copy it. So I'll do hit cancel. So I'll take all of this and I'll just hit Control Shift right. We'll copy the whole thing. If there might be blanks. So if you have like a pitcher at the top that didn't record a game batting, then it might stop halfway through. Not an issue for this tournament because pitchers bat, but it might stop halfway through, and then you just have to hold Control Shift and over until you get to the end, and then just down. We'll select everything. I'll hit copy that, and then I will take it and put it into. Make sure you're waiting until the tournaments are actually done, because even if you get knocked out in the first round, remember that the tournament's still running. I have had times where I've been like really on the ball and downloaded it before the tournament was done, so that's not something you want to do. And then I put it in a sheet tag data. Which currently for iron is 19,000 lines long, which is not huge. Again, it's a pretty small sample size at this point for this set. And so it goes into a chart. I do make it a chart because it'll expand automatically, and then I use pivot tables. So here's where it gets interesting. So we go over here and we go to like the batter ratings, for instance. So it looks the batters up by their card ID, and then it takes all of that information from that card ID. And so for the ratings, I have separate sheets for the ratings. I have separate sheets for the statistics. Why is Opera better than Google again? I don't know. I'm not a fan of Chrome. I really like the experience I've had using Opera. I used to like Firefox better, but doing it all in one report would certainly save a lot of time. But you like having set. I don't blame you. It's just that is just so much time downloading 3 and entering them into 3 separate spreadsheets. So, but what happens is when you do it the way that I do, you end up very quickly with file sizes like 80 megabytes. This bronze will probably be a 130 megabyte file by the time I'm doing bronze next week. It gets really big. Edge is okay. Chrome uses lots of resources. I've been using Opera for a few years, and I'm old and crusty and don't want to change. And then you can do whatever you want with it. So I'm not going to go into how to actually build stuff out, but I would have to use a clean spreadsheet for that, which... You know what? We're here, so why not just do it? Did I already close that? I did. So let's just do this again. Let's get through the pictures first so I don't accidentally crash Excel, and then I'll go into how to do the rest of that stuff. So let's get through these pictures and take a look at what we're looking at in Iron, and then we'll talk about that in a little bit. Do you still have to copy paste from data sheet into one big sheet? No. Yes, everything you do, you have to copy and paste. I haven't figured out a way. There are ways that are way more advanced that you can automatically do it by exporting your file, and it saves it to a file, but that's like coding, and that's not something I'm capable of with my current skill set. Having it separated makes it easy to see if you screwed up with a filter or something. Yeah, that's true too. You use Chrome, says Dishnet, whose memory is constantly running at 90%. Yeah, you could definitely write a script to make a new file. You could write a script in Excel probably to click a button and look up everything and download files, but that is so far beyond my capabilities that I'm not even going to say more about it than I just did. All right, so pitchers. Number 15, Nivaldo Rodriguez. Look at all these live pitchers, guys. They're all live, the top 10 most used. People just aren't filtering in the older pitchers yet. We'll see what the list looks like and see what we want to do. So Nivaldo Rodriguez comes in at number 15. He's 18th in FIP, 14th in earned run average, 17th in strikeouts, home runs, and walks. I haven't changed the structure. I haven't changed the calculations on these, so I still think walks are weighted a little bit heavy, which is why you're seeing him at number 15. There's going to be some guys higher on the list that maybe don't. 394 FIP, 381 earned run average. Definite splits here for Rodriguez. You got 7 points of stuff, 5 points of movement, 2 points of control. So if meta starts trending more left-handed, Rodriguez might run into trouble. Only a 51 stamina too, so you're going to have to get into your bullpen pretty quick with Rodriguez. I would love to learn how to script. I don't have time. I have a vague idea of how coding works. I wrote a math program for my daughter where she got to choose, Kat, I swear if you break stuff back there, where she got to choose like, hey, I want to do division today, math today. It was kind of neat. I never got around to building graphics or anything for it to make it actually fun. So she was like, you're a dork. And I like you a little bit less now that you built this game for me. Nivaldo Rodriguez at number 15. Number 14 is Devin Smeltzer. We've got, here's your high stuff, low movement, high control guys. So still looking like, hello. Yeah, it's my seat, but that's okay. Go ahead. Do whatever you want to do. 16th in FIP, 13th in earn. No, it's totally cool. You figure out where you want to sit, and then I'll figure out where I want to sit. Why don't we do it that way? Like you can take it first, or you can just stand there and look out over the horizon, Simba. Yeah, all right. So he splits a little bit towards lefties, which is a little bit of a reverse split for Devin Smeltzer. Fastball, changeup, curveball mix. Another 51 stamina guy. 86% start percentage for him. You think righty pitchers play better as righty batters seem better in this format. So we'll see what it looks like. So Smeltzer throws left-handed, and he's got split versus lefties, and he's doing okay here in the top 15. But again, 15th, there's 38 qualifiers, and the guys in the middle are probably all going to be kind of mediocre. So I think that right now, I do think that you want to have some lefties in there because there's going to be teams out there that are paying attention to this stuff, right? And so there's going to be teams that early on catch the meta. There's probably people who don't watch this stream too that are like, oh, I'm noticing that most of the pitchers are righties, so let's fill it up with left-handed batters, like the anti-meta guys. And you can do that too. So just keep it in mind. The meta is going to change over time as people start filling in and people start doing stuff. I think right now, for the sample set that we have right now today, yeah, the right-handed pitchers are probably going to be better, but I still think you're going to want some left-handed pitchers in there too, especially as, you can go followers. You've got, you'll see pinch hitters. They'll load their pinch hitters up with lefties. So like if you have an all right-handed bullpen, they're really going to take advantage of that later on in the game. So Smeltzer comes in at 14, 16th in FIP, 13th in earned run average. These numbers are way higher. This is like a half a run higher than we were seeing in last year's. So 3.89, 3.8 earned run average in FIP. At number 13, Cody Ponce, live Cody Ponce, 5th most used all time. Fastball, changeup, curveball, cutter, 58 stamina. Man, these live cards just don't have any stamina. We are still seeing some success out of high stuff, low movement, high control, moderate control cards. Strikeouts, 7.8 strikeouts per 9 innings is a lot. Almost a home run per 9 innings as well. And then walks at 3.12. Cody Ponce comes in at number 13. Number 12, Luis Garcia. So now we get a high stuff, decent movement, lower control kind of pitcher with a fastball, changeup, curveball, slider combination. 15th in FIP and 11th in earned run average for Luis Garcia. 5th in strikeouts at 8.82. Top 10 in home run suppression at 0.74. Man, this is a number that, like, if we looked at this last week in Perfect Team 21, you were like 0.74 home runs per 9 innings. You'd be like, you're not pitchable. But he's 8th this time out of 38 pitches. So Luis Garcia comes in at number 12. Number 11 is Dennis Santana, another high stuff, lower movement, lower control kind of pitcher. And this is another live pitcher, strikeouts. Number 1 in strikeouts per 9 innings at 9.46. Sinker, changeup, slider combination. 43 stamina, only a 55% start percentage. So that is something to bear in mind. His numbers are probably going to go up a little bit as a starter. I definitely think he looks more like a relief pitcher to me, but he hit that 50% cutoff threshold. So that's why he's on the starter list. 777 innings pitched for him right now. Number 10 is Bill McGee. Here's our first non-live pitcher on the list. 97 stamina for him. 53 stuff, 52 movement, 46 control. Just barely made the 200 innings pitched cutoff. 334 earned run average has him 4th overall. Somebody's got good defense behind him, though. 397 FIP has him 20th. So a little bit of a mixed bag for McGee. Fastball, cutter, curveball, slider repertoire for McGee. 2nd in home run suppression, which is a little surprising to me, with only a 52 movement. So, yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag. Pretty bad in strikeouts and pretty bad in walks. Struggles a little bit with the control. 4.46 walks per 9 innings is terrifying to me as a starting pitcher. 55% start percentage for him, too. So expect that earned run average especially to come up a little bit as a starting pitcher. You only run one team, so you do much. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, you stop doing defensive exports. If you had 4 accounts, it would be one kitchen. Yeah, that makes sense. Gregory Soto comes in at number 9. High stuff, good movement, 4th in home run suppression and 2nd in strikeouts, 8th in FIP, 15th in earned run average, number 9 overall for Gregory Soto. I like that combination. Again, the stamina is pretty low, just a 34 stamina. So I think what we're seeing a little bit, so much similar to how defense appears to be having an effect on ratings of the cards, and the really good defensive cards, we're seeing them in silver now as opposed to Ozzie Smith in bronze being the best defensive card up to like an 84 rated Ozzie Smith. I think defense and I think stamina might be trending towards the overall value of the cards. So there might not be too many super high stamina cards that are really effective here in Iron, which is going to make it important to build your bullpen as well. So Gregory Soto comes in at number 9. Number 8, Jonathan Staver. 61 stuff, 78 control, 59 stamina. Still, we haven't seen a single guy outside of that. Who was it? The historical guy, Bill McGee, with a high stamina, and McGee's a mixed bag. So Jonathan Staver at 61 stuff, 78 control, but 32 movement. Struggles with the home runs, does Staver, but the walk suppression, the strikeouts help him out. 379 FIP, 353 earned run average for him. Number 2 in WHIP at 1.149 for Staver. Looking good. Yeah, he's looking good here. This is very similar to some of the profiles we would have seen from last year. I feel like in 21, this is a profile that would have been really good last year. This year, it's firmly top 10 still. So Staver comes in at number 8. Number 7 is going to be Brandon Bailey, another high stuff, lower movement, lower control pitcher, but the home run suppression is okay. 12th in home runs per 9. It's a little bit higher movement than the other guy we saw with the high stuff. Who was it? So you're looking at like 7-8 points of movement for him over the last guy we saw. Also 5 pitches here, so that's important too. Again, 49 stamina. So for Brandon Bailey, 75% start percentage for him, 9th in earned run average, 10th in FIP, 6th in strikeouts, 10th in WHIP for Brandon Bailey, coming in at number 7 overall. Number 6. 1,900 duplicates take forever to sell when you can only. Yes, they do. You must open a lot of packs, B. Maller. You also have a tournament builder spreadsheet where you keep all the card ratings and your own internal data analysis spreadsheet where you're going to look at results. There's some huge tables on here. Joel Piamps comes in at number 6. 65 stuff, 44 movement, 73 control versus those right-handed heavy lineups. Versus lefty, this is one of those guys you run into a left-handed lineup and he's probably going to get hit pretty hard. That 38 movement is going to hurt him quite a bit against lefties. 41 stamina, fastball, changeup, slider, 7th in FIP, 7th in earned run average, 27th in home run suppression. Not surprised to see that, but walk suppression is 6th at 2.07, helping him out, and 3rd in WHIP at 1.175 for Joel Piamps. You've already opened 1,000 packs. Yeah, I probably opened it's free to play, so I need a big hit to open them. But I haven't opened that many this time. I probably opened 20,000 over out of the park 20. So had some good stuff there. I sold anything good though. Number 5 is Daniel Castano. So the stuff drops a little bit, but that movement comes up to the high 40s. And the control at 59, decent stamina for him. Ugly fastball, changeup, but a good sinker and slider for him. 29th in strikeouts, but 7th in home run suppression and 9th in walk suppression. He comes out 5th in FIP, 10th in earned run average for Castano, and 8th in WHIP. He's at number 5. Staver and Piamps, the only guys that we've seen on the list so far. Number 4, Antonio Santos. Lots of these guys. Yeah, it's a pretty small sample size right now. I rock this. It's that is definitely something that we want to keep in mind. The sample sizes will be bigger for the bronze next week as I figure out what to cut it off at. I've always cut my innings pitched off a little bit low, I think, though. It's especially over so this will be higher. This will keep going up. I haven't decided what I'm going to keep the weekly and the updated stuff at yet. It's still kind of a work in progress, but definitely a little bit of a small sample size right now. You've been using a lot of these guys, sticking some in the bullpen. You found the starters were better than relievers on the whole. I think you're probably right there. Where's your kidneys? It legit barely matters now. Anyone using starting pitchers with really low... Oh, hey, kidneys. Good to see you. With really low stamina. You hate doing that, but you're seeing decent numbers out of them. So, especially down at this level, the starting pitchers aren't that much better than the relief pitchers. It doesn't work as well up at low stamina. Doesn't help as much up in like the diamond level. But getting into your bullpen down here isn't going to hurt you as much as it will at higher levels either. You've completed all the missions already and sold those cards for way overpriced and just keep buying packs and selling. Nice. 35 stamina, 22 seems to be equivalent to 60 in perfect team 21. That's what I'm seeing too. Especially down here at lower levels. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Castano comes in at number 5. Number 4, Antonio Santos. These are all live cards. Did they not put any historical iron cards in the set? Santos with 902 innings pitched, 56 stuff, 41 movement, 73 control versus righties. Very little splits on those. 49 stamina, 48 holds, 13 home runs, 5th in walks per 9, top 5 in earner on average, number 2 in FIP, and number 6 in WHIP for Santos, getting it done for the guys he's pitching for. Number 3 is Wes Benjamin. Live pitches live pitchers in iron and bronze were pretty solid last year too. Not to this level, but there's also like a bajillion of them, which is probably part of it as well. There's probably a lot of iron cards that just haven't dropped as much at this point. 51 stuff, 42 movement, 66 control for Wes Benjamin. Pretty high stamina at 65. So he's a 57 overall with a fastball, changeup, curveball, slider combination. 3rd in FIP, 3rd in earned run average, 3rd in WHIP for him, and 7th in walks per 9 innings for Wes Benjamin. Number 2 is Hector Perez. High stuff, good movement, ugly control. But when you're top 10 in strikeouts and you're number 1 in home run suppression at .44, that is really solid. That is a really solid home runs per 9 innings number. 311 earned run average, 6th in FIP. 5 walks per 9 innings is a little bit terrifying. So those home runs that he does allow are probably going to hurt. But a 311 earned run average and a 367 FIP for Hector Perez. Fastball, splitter, curveball, slider, 44 stamina. Your number 1 starting pitcher for iron is 2021 MLB Live Eric Swanson. Interesting. We talk about home runs being a thing, and our number 1 pitcher right now, over 600 innings, number 2 in earned run average, number 1 in FIP, and number 1 in WHIP, is a guy with really good control, with pretty good stuff, and with really, really low movement. A little bit surprised to see Swanson. The home run suppression is bad, but he is number 1 in WHIP, so not bad. The bullpen needs more stamina now than starters. I don't think your bullpen needs more stamina than the starters, but expected to need good bullpen arms as well. Kinney's coming in here and showing off how much smarter he is than me, though, so I'll let him talk to that point. Marty Cordova is balling for you. Cordova is balling for you. Nice, Cordova. I've heard good things about Cordova. Stamina is not super important this season, I don't think. At least, and especially down here at lower levels. Because we're going to move on to the relief pitchers. Let's see if we can find some of these other guys, because let's reset this. Let's see, we got Anderson, Allard. So your number 6 came in at number 17. Newsom, Widener, Madison, Godot, Haas, Abreu. Where are the rest of these guys? Not showing up. Did we see Ponce? I don't remember if we saw Ponce. 13. Oh, he was at 13. Okay, so we did see Ponce. So I think we saw all of the guys on the list at some point over the course of the list. So it's looking like there's a lot of... So one of the things to keep in mind, too, one of the... maybe the biggest change to Perfect Team 22 are the strategy sliders. So pay attention to your strategy sliders. They're going to be super important, because you're going to want a different strategy on a guy like Nivaldo Rodriguez to a guy like Luis Garcia to a guy like Gregory Soto. So the pitch around strategy now is in the pitchers. So I highly recommend using your individual player strategies at that point. It's helped my bronze team out quite a bit. Big fan of the noise every time I click next to previous. It's very sorry. Yeah, I gotta work on the mic. I'm sorry. Newsom was just off the list. LJ was at, sorry, there you go, 18. 391 FIP, 406 earner on average for him, but number 4 in WHIP and number 1 in walk suppression as well. So letting up some home runs. He does let up some bombs. He's a guy that the stuff and control just isn't working out for right now. 125, third to last in home runs per 9. And so that's LJ Newsom. Relief pitchers. What are we seeing in relief pitchers? Taylor Hearn comes in at number 15. We had 27 qualifying relief pitchers with 200 or more innings pitched. I don't change the innings pitched requirement between starters and relief pitchers. That would require a separate sheet, and it's already a big enough program. Are strategies included in the... Yes, they are. Absolutely. So when you save your roster, strategies are included in that. Is a full slider for pitch around better for high control guys or low control? I pay a little bit more attention to movement, and so you really have to take all three into account. So a guy, and Kidneys will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure, but the way that I'm running it right now is my guys with high stuff, high movement, low control, get set to pitch around less. So I want those guys, the guys with high stuff and high movement, I want them attacking the zone. I want them throwing strikes and either striking guys out or inducing weak contact, because that movement is what's going to determine the contact level or the contact of the batter. So I want those guys attacking the zone, inducing that weak contact, striking people out, not walking guys, because if you have them pitching around more, they're going to miss the zone. They're going to walk guys more. My lower stuff, lower movement, higher control guys, I will set pitch around to more. So less for a high stuff, high movement, more for high control. I lost track of what I was saying there, so I hope I said it right. So the higher control, the lower movement, you're going to want them to pitch around a little bit more. Those are the guys like the Greg Maddux, who's going to nibble the strike zone, who's going to try to hit that low outside corner and get the guys to look at pitches that they think are balls, or not float the pitch up there in the middle of the zone. So that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm still messing around with it a little bit, but I'm really excited for it, because what it does is, as opposed to, it makes having a multifaceted pitching staff more feasible now, because you can have, because before when you either had to set it high or set it low and then hope that your pitchers who ran against that setting could get it done, were good enough to get it done anyway. Now you can run that, hey, day one I want this high stuff, high movement, left-handed pitcher with the low control, and I'm going to set him to pitch how I want him to. And then the next day I can throw that control guy out there with the high, maybe with the higher stamina, who's going to, be able to eat innings for me while pitching around guys. I'm really, that's probably the biggest change this season that I'm excited for to play around with as well. Here in Perfect Team 20. In fact, that was a change that I don't know if it was me specifically asking for it, but I had somebody reach out to me getting ready to do an interview with the developers. I was like, this would be probably one of the biggest changes, and then it happened. So I don't know if it was me asking for it that made it happen, but if it was, then I think that's pretty cool. So Taylor Hearn comes in at number 15 among relief pitchers, 364 FIP, 346 earned run average for him. Again, mid threes here. Number 2 in strikeouts at 10.41, 25th in home runs at 1.09, and 15th in walks per 9 innings at 3.54 for Taylor Hearn. He comes in here at number 15, right in the middle of the pack. Again, there's only 27 qualifiers right now. So we're probably, when we come back to Iron in 3 or 4 weeks, we're probably going to see some guys on this list that weren't even in existence today. So keep that in mind too. So all of this today is kind of a grain of salt thing. I wasn't even planning on doing it 3 days after it dropped. The irons just flow. They just started so fast that I was able to get way more data than I planned on getting. Connor Menez, high stuff. Kind of middling movement, lower control, 49 stamina. He's listed as a starting pitcher, getting 22% start percentage, 373 earned run average, 10th in FIP at 351. Kind of everything's right there, middle of the pack, that makes me say, maybe not a must-have in your bullpen, but if he's the only guy you can throw in there, then he's not going to kill you too much. Clary. I haven't seen Clary. We'll see if we see him today. A lot of the relievers are high movement and control, but low stuff. What slider would be best for them and pitch around? So that's where, so I would probably not slide it way to either side, but the guys with the high stuff and good control can kind of get away in the middle. Again, the high movement, low control guys, movement, I lean towards movement being the more important of the 3 stats for me. I'm still playing around with it a little bit. So everything that I say today, I reserve the right to change my mind next week. Now I got cheeseburgers coming in. My family is insane. I'm gonna have to take a break in a minute. to be able to eat.
I made it. Friendly.
You made it bite-sized?
Yes.
She's a keeper.
Eat it.
I need room. Sorry, guys. Anyhow, so high movement control. So lower pitch around. So probably low. You want batters to hit their pitches into ground balls. Yeah. So for me, movement is the really most important one on where I'm gonna move the slider, whether I'm gonna move it up or down. Stuff plus movement obviously makes me really move it towards don't pitch around. Movement plus control, I'm probably going to leave it somewhere in the middle if it's a high movement, high control guy. The lower the movement, in general, the lower the movement, the more I'm going to want them to pitch around. But again, Kidneys might have more to say about that. And I missed if he said something about that. And so, yeah, no problem. Thanks for hanging out, Michael Vick. This is your first year of Out of the Park starting at game launch. When do they usually add the next set of missions? So supposedly every month-ish. I've heard 2 months, but it should be sooner than that early. I wouldn't be surprised to see some missions in a couple weeks. I didn't pay that much attention to them. I'm packs only, so until I had a good collection of cards, or at least I was all last year. Until I had a good collection of cards, I didn't care that much about missions, so I wasn't really paying attention. But I would imagine sometime in the next couple weeks, we might see additional missions, but it might be another month. It might be the beginning of May. So Menez at number 14. At number 13 is Mauricio Lovera. Oh, it's so big and... These are good cheeseburgers. We have a local place right down the street. That's phenomenal. Not local, it's a chain, but it's a chain that, as far as I know, is only in our state. Mauricio Lovera comes in at number 13. 76 fastball, 69 splitter. Don't you eat my food, cat. 64 curveball for Lovera. I just punched you guys in the face. Apologies. 369 FIP, 341 earned run average, 1.3 whip. Puts him 12th again. Another one of those guys that everything's kind of like... It just screams out at you right here in the middle of the pack, which is what we're seeing from high stuff, low movement, decent control guys like Lovera. Number 12 is Franklin Quilom. Yeah, I'm going to get through these relief pitchers, and then I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break, shut off the camera so that you guys aren't watching me stuff my face. I am hungry. Quilom's a guy who's better stuff, better movement, lower control, 5th in home run suppression, 8th in FIP for Quilom. Walks are an issue for him. Strikeouts also top 10 in strikeouts for Franklin Quilom. 349 FIP, 374 earned run average for him. Number 11, Seth Romero, high stuff, good movement, good control. This is a good looking card right off the bat. Just a 37 stamina for him, so a good relief pitcher card. 360 FIP, 354 earned run average for him. 6th in strikeouts, 11th in home runs for Romero. But a 360 FIP, a 354 earned run average over 384 innings. Moving into the top 10. You want cheeseburger? Brave sign Mathis during the stream. Nice. You asking a cat not to eat my food is like asking a mosquito not to bite. Where do the packs show up if you're already in a perfect team season? It should be, yeah, they're on a bit of delay. It takes about 5 minutes. From the time you hit accept pack to when it goes. Number 10 is Jose Suarez. High stuff, low movement, high control. Fastball, changeup, curveball, slider. 16th in FIP at 3.69 and 8th in earned run average at 3.36. Top 10 in walks, top 5 in whip for Jose Suarez at number 10. Number 9 is Brad Wick. 82 stuff, 45 movement, 51 control, 19 stamina. So he's a real relief pitcher. 1% start percentage, but he's 6th in earned run average, 15th in FIP, and a 1.252 in whip. Top 10 in strikeouts per 9 at 8. And bottom 3rd in home runs per 9. So home runs are a little bit of an issue for Brad Week. What's up, you Karen? Good to see you. And yeah, you claim them here, and then they'll go into the game. You received the previous one. about this stream is it gives you reason to get excited about iron cards and packs. I do, yeah. I still like iron cards and packs right now. They'll get boring once I get a big hit and open 200 packs. If I get a big hit and open 200 packs. Here's your specialist, guys. Philip Deal, left-handed specialist, 85 stuff, 54 movement, 54 control against lefties, which is 13 points of stuff and 10 points of movement higher than versus righties. Solid looking specialist, 312 FIP, 22nd in earned run average with a 385, but top 10 in strikeouts, 3rd in home run suppression, and 11th in walks per 9 for Philip Deal. Number 7, where are these guys? Is Ramon Rosso, 68 stuff, 74 stuff versus righties, 44 movement, 47 control, good fastball, slider, a little bit of a mediocre changeup curveball for him. He's 3rd in FIP with a 318, 23rd in earned run average though, which tells me that there are either some defensive deficiencies behind him or something underlying. Maybe the home runs, which I don't think is awful. The walks don't look terrible. The 3.36 walks is like midpoint of these relief pitchers. There's a lot of not control here. But a 977 strikeouts, interesting. That is 0.7 of a point there. Ramon Rosso comes in at number 7. Number 6, there we go. Adam Simber comes up at number 6. Lower stuff, this is a right-handed specialist. You're looking at 25 points of stuff. You're looking at 23 points of movement. Correction, 33 points of movement and 23 points of control versus righties. Adam Simber is a right-handed specialist. Is he good at it? It looks like he's pretty good at it. A 3.04 earned run average, a 3.5 FIP for him. Top 5 in whip. Strikeouts are a little bit lower. Home runs at 17th, 0.84, and walks. He's very good at control. A lot of live servers did that same thing back then. Do we know when the new cards are going to get added for players who made the opening day roster but aren't in perfect team yet? That's a good question. I do not know the answer. Message me on Discord and if somebody doesn't answer it in here, and I'll see if I can find out for you. Number 5 is Dylan Maples. This is a lot of people's favorite card in the set right now. Because Dylan Maples probably couldn't hit a barn, but he'll strike everybody out while doing it. Number 1 in strikeouts at 12.5. Number 1 in home run suppression at 0.5. Number 27 last in walks. 6.27 walks per 9 innings, guys. Set him to not pitch around ever. 3.18 earned run average, 3.44 FIP for Dylan Maples. I think this could be a solid card if used right. But he's going to walk guys regardless of what you do with him. His control is not very good. Thanks, Cap. I disagree. That's hometown. Do I take into consideration how they will perform in real life and how their ratings will change? I do not. I just look at what they're doing. So going forward, as we go forward, they get rated on their performances over the last week or so. And so as they get phased up to bronze, they'll stop showing up in iron because this is where I take my qualifiers from, is the this week stuff. So I don't think about really how they're going to perform in the future. I'll pay attention to it to keep an idea, but I honestly, most of these guys, I don't know what they're expecting to do. Am I expecting anyone to drop to iron? Not yet. And number 4 is Cole Irvin. Lower stuff, higher movement. Well, kind of crummy movement. Higher control. Little bit of a lefty specialist for Irvin. 344 FIP, 303 earned run average for him right now. Good fastball, slider, decent sinker, changeup. The control looks interesting. The movement's a little bit low. I'm surprised to see his home run suppression this good in the top half. The strikeouts, he's second to last in strikeouts. Middle of the pack in home runs, but I suspect that home run number will come up a little bit as time goes on. He comes in at number 4, though, with a 344 FIP, a 303 earned run average, and number 1 in whip. Number 3 is Tommy Doyle. All these live cards. He's the 3rd most used. High stuff, good movement, lower control. This is your kind of typical relief pitcher. Pitches well against both lefties and righties. A fastball, cutter, changeup combination, which is can be very effective. 1302 whip is 13th. 6th in home run suppression, though. 5th in FIP and 1st in earned run average at 2.86. 8.55 strikeouts per 9 innings and 3.69 walks are both kind of middle of the pack among relief pitchers here in Iron. Number 2 is Jose Cisnero, your 4th most used pitcher. 71 stuff, 92 stuff versus righties, 55 movement, 47 control. A little bit of a righty specialist. 81 fastball, 54 changeup, 81 slider. Right now, 4th in FIP, 2nd in earned run average, and 2nd in whip for him. Top 10 in every single category. 9th in strikeouts, 9th in home runs, and 10th in walks per 9 innings for Jose Cisnero. And your number 1 relief pitcher, Mike Trout Legends get a shout out too. Oh, I read that wrong. And number 1 relief pitcher for our first Perfect Team 22 tournament list is Casey Sadler. What? Doesn't even make any sense. Number 1 in FIP at 2.98. Number 9 in earned run average at 3.36. Top 10 in whip at 1.277. 2nd in home run suppression. 6th in walks per 9 innings. And 12th in strikeouts per 9 innings for Casey Sadler. What does he do? 70 stuff, 67 versus righties. 49 movement, good across the board. 67 control. He's a high stuff, low movement, high control guy. Fastball, spectacular changeup for Iron anyway, and a pretty good curveball. So a 3-pitch mix for Casey Sadler, who's pitching for Seattle now. Looks pretty good, solid 2.71 walks per 9, good home run suppression. Let's see if we can't find Genesis Cabrera, because I don't think he was on the list anywhere. Was he? There he is. Genesis Cabrera, the most used pitcher, comes in at number 21. Number 23, sorry. The legendary Casey Sadler, Hall of Fame bound. He might be, the changeup might be very effective. You just bought him for 29 points. His home runs will go up. Nice. That looks better than a lot of bronze relief pitchers. That Sadler, the Sadler looks not bad. The Genesis Cabrera, 80 stuff, good movement, or low movement, low control. The most home runs among starting or relief pitchers. Pretty bad earned run average in FIP as well. Is he just I fall out of every single pack kind of guy, or are people thinking this stuff? I have a feeling there's some. I feel like this card could be effective with an 89 fastball, 82 change, 82 curveball, and good stuff. I feel like if utilized properly, this card could be effective. I feel like there's some strategy involved here. And this is one of those guys that is still a work in progress for me. I don't know if I was throwing this guy out there. I don't know if I have him pitch around more or less. Like, I really want him to be more because the movement's really low. But I really want him to be less because the control is really low too. Although the walks aren't that bad. I think I probably have him pitch around more and slide him up just a little bit. Probably not all the way up, but interesting. He could be, I mean, it's a card that looks like it could be useful to me. Bump, 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 bump. There you go. There's your mouse clicking. Are the counting stats skewed a little bit because he's starting half the time? Let me check. I didn't even look at that. Yes, that is what it is. That's what it is. So where would he be as a starter? So let's look at 3.75 earned run average as a starter. That's a really good catch. I missed that he was a 50% starter. 3.75 earned run average would put him, find somebody who's close, would put him right around number 12 on starting pitchers. So that's why he's getting used so much, because he's getting used as a starter too. So good catch there. And you think he's one of those cards people want to be good but just doesn't perform, same last year. Yeah, I can see it. He does not look like a guy I'd necessarily want to start. I'm really curious to see how he is in small doses and as more of a relief pitching role though. So it's a lot to try to separate it all out, and it's not very accurate either, so it's hard to do that stuff. So that's your list. Those are your tournament lists for today. What time is it? It's 2 o'clock. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. we're gonna I'm gonna eat real quick, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna finish up with what was I gonna do? I was gonna show you guys how to create a thing. Let's do that next week because we're pretty packed this week. I'm gonna get into an iron team. We're gonna see about building an iron team off of. I can't even really do that because I don't have an open spot. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But give me a minute to eat, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. Sorry, thanks for bearing with me there for a minute. I didn't want to stuff my face in front of you guys, but wanted to get at least some of that down before it got cold. We're going to check in on the teams now. So we looked at iron. I did say I was going to show you guys how to do that. Let's see. I didn't set the pictures. I'll deal with that later today. Let's just maybe get into some packs. Anyhow, actually, I will show you downloading data real quick and how to make it into something usable. So let's open this up real quick. We're going to have 4 packs on this team. We've got a couple packs on the other team, so it won't be too many packs today, sadly, but you never know when you're going to get lucky. We got knocked out in the first round of this tournament. So I create, whoops, wrong button. I create my sortable stats. I make them look like this. I do whatever you need to do with your sortable stats. One thing is if you are just building it for yourself, the only reason I pull the ratings is because I need them for all of that stuff. I used to copy and paste pictures of cards, and that took me hours on end. And I got really burnt out on that. So that's why I started pulling the ratings so that everything happens automatically on my spreadsheet. So I'm going to go into this assuming that you do not need a presentation like this, okay? So I'm not going to show anybody how to do this. It's nobody in their right mind should ever put themselves through that. It's such a not fun. And so you're going to write it to a disk. It's going to pop up like this. This is 203 players, so I'm going to be able to right click. I'm going to open Excel. And for this first one, I'm going to go Control A, copy, Control C, and then I'm gonna put it right around here. I'm just gonna hit. So I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna go Control V, and I'm just no. I don't want to do that. I messed that up. That's me messing everything up. You're gonna want to right click and hit Match Destination Formatting, because that way it looks like an Excel spreadsheet and not like somebody's 7-year-old kid drew all over your computer. So for here, the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the tournament number in over here. This is for me. This is, you may or may not want to do this. I'm gonna throw, this was 1177, and then I'm just gonna plug it in, and I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go double click, and that'll put it all the way down to the bottom, which is where it says Tuesday, March 30th, which populates below. I will throw out there that if you export to Excel and then copy and paste, the bottom, this here, might not be there. So when you double click, it might fill 1 million rows with your whatever number you just plugged in. So just be careful of that. After that, I'm gonna do it like this. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna name this tournament. I'm gonna go select all of this, and then I'm gonna go to home, and I'm gonna format as table, and I like blue. I think it looks good. My table does have headers, and so now we have something that looks like this. So now we have a table that we can sort in any which way we want to do, which is fun, but not terribly useful for the purposes of compiling stats. And so you need to figure out how to put all the stats in their thing. So I haven't done this in a little bit, so bear with me. I'm going to find it. We're going to go to, I forget where it is. We're going to go over, where's the dumb, so pivot tables. Somebody help me out. This is embarrassing. Data. Gonna be in here. No? It's been so long since I've actually done this. Formulas, page layout. Insert. Here we go. That was, it's in insert. So go insert. You're gonna want to select the whole thing, right? Actually, you can just select in the chart since it's in a chart. And you're gonna go insert pivot table. That was really dumb, guys. So table 1 is going to be our range, which is really nice. That was ridiculous. I apologize for that. Do I have a face of the franchise yet? No, not yet. Is anyone else's perfect team stuck? It happens. Just go throw it in the Discord, and they should be able to look in it. So table 1 is going to be our range for this, which is really useful. So you can do it without the table, but this makes it better. And I learned this from DRC Nomads, who is way better at this stuff than I am. So is Kidneys, and so when I screw something up here, he's going to call me out on it. So table 1, you're going to want it in a new worksheet. It's going to go like this, and it'll look something like this. And this is where you do all your good stuff. So I use card ID, and I will use, no, we don't want to sum it. We want to put it in, so you have filters, which allows you to select it. So I'm going to put my tourney in the filters, right? And that allows me to go up here and select which tournament I'm talking about. We only have one for now. That'll be important later on. For columns is going to take one of each number you do. So you're going to get column labels, and then I want it to, no, not columns, rows. We want that to be rows. I'm screwing everything up. You guys put me on the spot here asking me to do this. So we get row labels here, right? And so what that's going to do is it takes only one of each of them. So this is your card ID. So it'll be that unique card ID. And then after that, we're going to take values. So we're going to go down to, let's say, I'm not going to get super advanced on this because I'll just make a complete fool out of myself. So let's go down to plate appearances. We take values over here. And what's going to happen is it's going to sum all of the plate appearances for card 2093. So one thing you're probably going to want to do is next to your thing is to put the title of the card next to your card ID. So now you can see who it is. And then so now you have your plate appearances. So then you just go plate appearances. We'll go at bats. Why not at bats? And then we go hits. So now you have all of that stuff. Now, one other thing you can do is you can go up to pivot table, analyze, and options. And there are ways to make it not show the total. So show grand totals for rows and grand totals for columns, and we'll do that. And then we'll go over here and we'll go options. My options just disappeared. Let's go here. Pivot table, analyze, field settings. See, I'm dumb when it comes to this stuff. I'm really not an expert at this. I just Google stuff until it works. Options. Display, show text, show expand, collapse, display fields. But there is a way to make it so that these don't like subtotal for you and stuff. And I just can't find it right now because I'm on the spot. And is he related to Mckinney? I don't know. Maybe he is related to Mckinney. This is I'm going to show you how to do it, but confuse you so much. So I'm going to come back to this because like the spreadsheets, but I just left it alone for so long that I can't find the stupid thing that I want to do right now. So, but that's how you download the data, and then you can play around and then Google it and say, I want to do this. That's how I do all this stuff. Is I just Google it and go, Google, tell me how to do this. I think we should open some packs. What do you guys think? We're looking for some Iron Tournament players on this team. Really some bronze now. We'd like some good bronze tournament players on this team now. They've only earned us 1,000 points today. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointing team. Simple Enigma is good too. There's another way to import it, but you like my way better. I don't know of any other way. We got 4 packs to open. This is a packs only team, and so it's going to stay packs only. That's why they're only going to be doing iron, bronze, and probably silver tournaments at some point. And so we're just going to open our 4 packs that we have with them today because that's all we have. And maybe we get lucky. Here we go. First pack of the day. This is my first pack today. I haven't opened any this morning. We'll go silver, Josh Lindblom. 3 silvers in 1 pack. Guys, we're on fire. And a gold Bo Bichette. That's going to be a perfect by the end of the season. That's a good-looking card. 64 defense at shortstop. Maybe not. At gold, 64 is a little bit low for shortstop at gold. Good contact, good power, though. That's a solid start here. Gene Nelson going for 170 right now. What's Bo Bichette going for right now? 1,600. Earn our pack back. John Gray. 1,300 for John Gray. Are you a duplicate? You're not a duplicate. Josh Lindblom. A couple good silver live relievers. Building a silver team. And next pack. Rig packs. You're telling the devs. One of them's in here. I just saw him. Diamond. Jack Flaherty. Good start for the packs today. And what is going? Another Bo Bichette? What is going on here? I did not record this earlier. This is not pre-recorded. Could I remove the stats in blue? I sure can. Sorry. Thank you for the reminder there. We'll take a Jack Flaherty here. James Norwood. Nice. Tyler Chatwood. Anthony Alford. How's he looking? 67 defense in center field. It's an interesting 93 stuff, 54 movement, 37 control card. Norm Miller. 43 defense in right field. 60 power in bronze. How's Flaherty looking this year? 96 stuff, 51 movement. Will get crushed at higher levels, but we're in like Iron League this week, so it'll play. Alfred is your Iron Tourney center fielder right now? Okay. Right, yeah. So I need to always be looking for irons is what Ruts DC is telling me. You grab 2 diamonds with the drop packs today. These are not my drop packs. Those go to my other team. Those go to the main team. They need it more. Larry Stahl, 61 power. Steve Jones, relief pitcher. 82 stuff, 63 movement, 40 control in bronze. That's interesting. Adam Hazley, we saw him today. He didn't get too much play and didn't look too good from what we saw. Pat Perry, we did not see Pat Perry today. 62 control for a relief pitcher, JT Chargeois. 83 stuff, 45 movement, 44 control for an Unsung Heroes pitcher. Unsung Heroes are another tournament that I really want to get into at some point this season. Those are fun. Mercado, George Jackson, bronze left fielder. There's Willie Calhoun. He's a guy that we were interested in adding to that Iron team. He'll get added today. There's Elias Diaz, Brian Abreu. He was on a list today too, I think. Elias Diaz. Mercado played in bronze last year. Not sure how he plays this year. George Jackson, 72 power in bronze. That would have been like no-brainer card last season. Those are our 4 packs for this team. I'm going to let the computer throw Jack Flaherty in there. I'm going to play around with them later. But adding Jack Flaherty, John Gray, Josh Lindblom to this team, maybe they'll start earning us some points over the next couple days. You're still awaiting your drop pack arrival? I would message, shoot me a message or shoot a message to one of the devs on the Out of the Park place. On the Out of the Park Discord. Let's do this one next and see if they have any packs. No packs. 2 packs. We'll buy these packs. There you go. Double check your connection on the challenge website and your Twitch connection page. AZ Axel is one of the devs, so he should have better information on that than me. 2 packs for the Unicorns. Skip. Couple Brewers to open this one up. Jacob Brumfield. Mike Carp. I like it. 2013. 63 power left fielder for the Red Sox. How did that team win a World Series? Connor Brogdon, Avisel Garcia, Manny Pena, Jacob Brumfield, 40 contact, 27 power, 52 eye, 50 defense. I can see why we didn't see him today. One more pack with these guys. Your 3 packs weren't as good as mine, but you did get 2 golds. Nice. Who, Brumfield? Or Carp? Oh, yeah, I got it. Took me a minute. You'll be talking for 3.5 hours. I don't know what's going on. We got the whole Brewer. We might finish the Brewers collection here with this team. Let's see if we got anywhere near a collection there. The 15? No, nothing done. Those are fun. That's it for that team. Nothing good. Let's see if the computer wants any of them on the team. Doesn't look like it. All right, last team. We'll open some packs with this team. Looking for some advice. Your pack opening screen is split in half. Can't seem to get it to show properly. That's a good question. I'm not sure. Anyone know why your league is stuck in simulation since 11 a.m. this morning? Have you logged out, closed your client, and tried to log back on? FCF, pal? You got 1 gold out of the 6 packs. Better than nothing. 2013 is your favorite season of baseball. There are some good. Yeah, 2013 was fun. 2011 was not. So we got 1 team left. We're going to skip over the Bruins and just go to the main team, who's probably gotten knocked out of this bronze tournament by now. They have not. Did I accidentally build a good bronze team for a tournament today? Let's see what round they're in. Whoa, they're on to game 7. What time is it? 2:26. We might be able to highlight a game 7 here. Let's hide those scores. Rolled through it. 4-1, 4-2. Playing the Lumberjacks. You in here? Cordova Lumberjacks? T-tapped 6. We got 9 packs. Let's open the packs while we wait for the series to end. Start with Tim Anderson. Well, I'm interested to see that card. Red Evans, William Contreras, Jesus Sanchez, Joe Adell. See what this one looks like. 70 contact, 38 power, 21 eye, 42 defense. I think this is a duplicate. Nope. Nice. All new cards. 50 rated, 67 movement, 38 stuff, 33 control. That's a terrifying card. Thormelin. Tim Anderson. Yeah, that one's a nice looking card. There's another Hazley. Brad Week was on our list today. Mike Butcher. Derek Hill. We didn't look at him. He plays a couple different outfield positions, does Derek Hill. Currently on the Cubs in the OHBL. Spring training going on right now. Pretty excited for that. We'll have some of the OHBL and the TABA tomorrow. Adam Simber. We've got Jung Bong. Kareem Garcia. Who is Kareem Garcia? Adonis Medina. Michael Lorenzen there. Chris Owings. 59 contact, 44 power, 36 eye. Not sure he's going to play in bronze with 45 defense at shortstop. 6 more packs. Frenchie Borgare is the only bronze card you need. Oh, there's a Gleiber. Oh, why? Ugh. Jason Castro. That's a live pack. We're going to call that a 50-point live pack because we're going to burn Gleyber Torres. He's your DH right now? What? Go away. There's Conor Felipe. Get to add him to the Iron team. Maurice Archdeacon. 70 contact, 70 eye. I want to look at that card when we're done here. Tyler O'Neill, kind of McBroom. He was a guy on the first base list, number 10. Grief. I don't know if we're going to see Grief next week on the bronze. We shall see. We got 4 packs left. He's hitting 240 in rookie for you. Put him on auction, you'll buy him. I'm going to hang on to him. I got to finish those live collections with this team. This one's a Wilmer Flores and a bunch of, well, there's Genesis Cabrera, Oviedo, Ramirez, Ronnie Garcia. I really like the look of the live cards this year. They're really, really well done. I like the look of all the cards this year, but I think the live cards really took a step forward. Trevino. Nothing terribly interesting in that pack. We got 2 left. Yeah, Grief is a decent picture. There's a Matt Moore 2012 rookie sensation. Jake Pittler. Alzolay. Ooh, Satchel. 76 stuff, 73 movement, 57 control. He'll probably pitch for 5 innings in bronze. Matt Moore, 66, 80 stuff, 53 movement, 40 control. He'll strike some guys out in bronze. Hitler, second baseman, unplayable, 48 second base defense. Thorman, Alzolay, Shed Long. Sounds like Shed Long might be on the shelf to start the season. The Red Sox all have different backgrounds. It's very weird. So if we pull another Red Sox, you'll see they're all dark. That's like a 1,000-point card. We're gonna throw them up in the on the bronze team, I think. Yeah, see? Because the Piamps is the same way. It's all the guys that were pictured while they were with the Red Sox. It's like the guy taking the picture forgot to turn his flash on or something. Cerruti. We didn't see Cerruti today. We didn't see Bard. Didn't see Bacchus. Didn't see Knebel today either. You're using Page as a reliever? I can see that. 3,000 for that Page? Let's check out the team. Let's actually go back to the home screen. Nope, not that one. This one. Hide scores. Villar, this is my team right now in bronze. It's not great. I'm still working on it. Helling with an off tournament. It's been all Bonham and Brent Suter this time. Freddie Peralta having a good tournament for us today. Twitchell's looking pretty good, guys. Still working on the lineup especially, but still working on the pitching and the bullpen. I just haven't earned enough points to finish buying the guys that I need to fill this team out. Maybe we'll sell the Satchel. But Villar's been pretty good, near the top of the order. Jack Dunn, this is his first turn. We got Jack Dunn last night, is what we added. Chick Gandal's been pretty solid at first base. Eddie Rosario, 381, 6 home runs this tournament. Ollie Brown, Alexi Casilla, Urias, Freddie Galvis, Campusano, solid catcher. Helling, Bonham, Fleming, Suter, Peralta. Let's see. The Twitchell's been fantastic. Jace Fry not set to anything, so he probably hasn't pitched, which means I might have a rested relief pitcher for the final game. One of the issues I've run into with this team right now is that Helling is at an 89 stamina, but then the rest of my starting pitchers, we've got Bonham at 29, Fleming at 56, Peralta at 35, and Suter at 32. So when we go really deep into tournaments, or when we have a 7-game series early, which luckily we did not for this tournament, we did in round 2, the bullpen can get fatigued really quickly because those guys have to get pulled pretty early. Luckily, looking like they're pretty rested here for Game 7. We've got Bonham going for Game 7. This is exciting. We'll get at least 4 more packs out of this, so... What do we got? We got 25 minutes. We're just going to highlight it. I don't have time to go through the whole game. The Twitchell is awesome. No. The burger is awesome, though. Thank you. I think it's better cut up than it is eating it like a madman. It was pretty good. These final simulations sometimes take a little while. Bonham was a great drummer. And so we might have to watch it for just a second. The tournament simulations have been super fast this season. Outside of like Game 7 of the finals has been a little bit rough. One thing you've noticed this year is that if you ask the AI to set your bullpen, it really likes to put a starter there if you have one in your pen. The packs popping up are going to spoil it. Oh, no. I'll cover it. Here, let me do this real quick. Let's add a color source. Add source. It's gonna happen. It is gonna spoil it. That's sad. That's kind of sad. Oh well. Where did it go? Was it this one? And I'll log out and log back in. Well, we know what happened. I don't know if it was 423. Nobody look. Everybody close your eyes. Let's unhide scores and see what happened. 5-3. 4 runs in the first. Ollie Brown, Jonathan Villar. Let's watch the highlights. Have you guys... So everybody, I assume, has been in and seen the highlights of these games, but it just looks awesome this season. It looks so cool. Top of the first, Arias off of Bill Bonham. That one's driven into the gap, but getting under it is whoever my center fielder is. Villar. I don't know my team yet. It'll be top of the first. It was supposed to be highlights. 3-2. Driven to deep left field. Gee, man, Choi gives them a 1-0 lead in the top of the first. It's not as exciting when I know what's going to happen. You guys should have watched the my online leagues World Series last week. Those were some games. Bottom of the first, Villar leading off. And into the gap, a leadoff home run for Villar. We like that. Villar looking good at the top of the order. Still bottom of the first, 2-2, runner on third. Lost that one. Into the corner. Rosario. Two to one in the first. What's next? Ollie Brown batting next. The 1-0 pitch to him. Crushed into left field. There's our 4-run first, guys. Now we just need Bonham to hold on. Top of the fourth. 4-2 now. And that one is into the right field corner. Going for third. And he's safe. Next up is Jeff Bloom. And that one is going to score the run and be extra bases. Getting dicey. 4-3 now. Run scoring double. We move. Still top of the fourth. Bonham in trouble. Not his best performance. Getting a little lucky here. Walks him. And that brings up Yachty. The 2-2 pitch popped up. Should be playable. And is. I need to learn my team. Dunn makes the catch. And the 1-2 pitch struck him out. Andre Jimenez strikes out to end the top of the fourth. Lots of highlights. Goodness gracious. We got 3-1 with G-Man Choi on second base. The 3-1 pitch to Mark Sweeney. Taken for ball 4. Goodness gracious. Fry is into pitch. His first appearance of the tournament. And there he goes. He gets David Green down swinging. Top of the 7th now. Jimenez batting again. Ignatiak into the game. And that one's hit into center field for a leadoff single in the top of the 7th. 0-1 pitch to G-Man Choi. Already a home run today. And that one's roped into right field. Oh, that was in the 8th. It skipped ahead. They're just showing all the hits now. Still top of the 8th. Choi on first. Mark Sweeney batting. 5-3. The throw down to second. He is done. Strike him out. Throw him out. I got to say it for real that time. 4 out. Numbers 1 and 2. We move to the 9th. 2 outs. Top of the 9th. Championship pitch is on the ground short. Galvis makes the play to end the tournament. We got 6 packs to open, and then we're going to call it a day. Ready? Here's hoping for a big one. We need something big here. Ooh, Bradley Zimmer, not bad for iron. Sam Horn. What? There's LJ. We got a Sam Horn card. I love it. Plawecki. You got Adonis Terry in perfect draft. Nice. Oliveris. Merrill Hogue. Eric Bell. Mickey Moniak. Garcia and Matt Carpenter for that pack. We got 4 left. Another Genesis Cabrera. Kyle Funkhauser. Gold. Jim Hickman. Let's see what he looks like. 70 contact, 81 power, 69 eye, 54 first base defense. Bronze Bernardo Flores Jr. Albert Almora Jr. No longer with the Cubs. Zach McKinstry, Clint Frazier, Smeltzer. Two more packs, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm going to try to get to the data for the Iron Warriors tournament tonight, and hopefully I'll have something for you guys on stream tomorrow for this weekend's Iron Warriors for this past weekend's Iron Warriors tournament. But tomorrow will be OHBL and TABA off seasons in the morning. We got OHBL spring training going on, which we'll pay attention to, and then we'll figure something out in the afternoon. It'll be either Iron Warriors. It won't be as in depth as this, but I have some things planned for it that I'm going to try to work on tonight, and otherwise it'll be our alternate baseball history, which is just sitting there waiting, that we're going to try to get into. It's right here. We did the draft last week on the 12-hour stream. That was a day, let me tell you. I'm never doing that again. When does this tournament start? I need to save this tournament roster and throw it in that Tuesday bronze tournament. Let's go okay. Let's go roster management, export. We're going to call it 30 March. Press OK. I've actually been using this Tuesday to build the team because the other tournaments kick off so fast. But we're just going to load that team into here. And otherwise, so rest of the week, it'll be on my channel. Come over and say hi. We enjoy our time over there. It's mostly my online leagues. But they're fun. We get to talk a little trash. I don't know if anybody's in here. And we will have fun. Otherwise, thanks for the stream today, guys. I appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with me. It wouldn't be fun to do this stuff if it wasn't for you guys. I know I say that every week, but it never gets old. This is, it's really cool that I get to do this for you guys. So thank you all, and I hope you guys have a great night. If I don't see you on my stream, then I'll see you next week for bronze. See you then. My channel is Angered Unicorn on Twitch. You can hit me up in Discord and I can send you a link. And have a fantastic afternoon, guys. Bye.